Cruising with Steve. Get in, sit down, buckle up. Cruising with Steve. Get in, sit down, buckle up. Cruising with Steve.
Welcome back to Cruising with Steak. This is Grim Steak here. I'm joined by James Cruz. James Cruz?
Hey, what's up?
And I'm also joined by Thundersteak, aka Failed,
What's up?
aka Caledorian, aka Ingomar. Probably a lot
One
more in there
that
too.
we're missing, but I can't remember the fifth one.
There's another one. So here we are. Another night.
We're here.
Another show. Cruising with Steak knocked out. We had a pretty fun episode with John Brisson. You've probably heard him doing his rounds on THC and Grimerica and Truffaut show. So we got him. John Brisson. Jerry helped interview. Jerry was sitting in with us. It's a good time.
Yeah, it was fun.
We talked about
John's a amazing person, dude.
hey, dude,
yeah.
he's a freaking endless well of knowledge. My notes
That
say we
guy's-
talked about Alex Jones and Trump. Wait, what happened, Phil?
That guy is an encyclopedia of knowledge.
Yeah.
Dude, he really is,
Yeah.
man. Like,
But
just
not the ones you get at the library. It's the ones that they were selling door to door back in the 80s. That kind of encyclopedia.
This is suppressed hidden knowledge, guys. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what he comes with, and it's like he's a fact machine, dude. It's insane.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, you literally, yeah, he could. I don't know, some people have that like ability to store all that information and just spit it right back out.
Yeah, dude.
And I am not that guy.
No. If anything, your brain's some kind of shitty sponge or something, James.
Totally. I think it's just a meat mountain, dude.
Dude,
That's
it
all
might be
is.
the meat mountains.
It's just a meat mountain. It's like roast beef, maybe some burger, and then like you get there's like a slimy thing of like Taco Bell meat, like
At
right on
least.
the end. Just soaking the knowledge in of the shitty sponge in my head, and it's the ether. Yeah, that's exactly
exactly
what
it.
it's like inside my head.
Oh. Yeah, it was a good show. Good show.
Yeah, like we were saying, you could go on any topic, and we could just keep going for
Things got a
hours.
little dark. We got into some of the
Yeah.
darker conspiracies of the world. So, darkness.
And then he
warning.
has one of the fucking most heartbreaking, like stories. Yeah, you'll hear. I mean, I don't know. You probably, if you've listened to John before, he had a son that died like really young, dude. And I just can't believe how empowering he is beyond like that whole situation and his drive to like find out, what was the cause of it and how he like even helped his son live longer because of the knowledge he had. It was crazy, dude. Like it was intense.
He is an inspiration because
Yeah.
I've had problems in my life, and I was talking to him, and he went through the list of everything, and I was just like, maybe my problems aren't so bad, and if you can deal with that,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, he has that. Like I was floored, dude. Like
Mhm.
me too, man. I felt like very, very sad for him, but in the end, you see his fortitude, and he's still kicking the knowledge and still researching and still developing his craft of the fix your gut and working
Yep.
hard at that, and
Mhm.
changing lives one step at a time.
And
Yep.
I'm like sitting there thinking, I'm like, there's so many people I could just send some his way or whatever, or just get, like, hey, check
Oh
this
yeah,
guy
dude. We
out.
gotta get. We should get Mike in touch with him. We keep saying
Yeah.
it's Moby DM.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we were gonna have him on. We're gonna,
We were on Night Talk. We were on Night Talk on Monday.
Yes.
that was a fun show.
that was awesome, man. That
Yeah,
was
dude.
that went really good this time. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Thanks, Mike. It was a blast.
Yeah, even though you probably don't listen to our show, but I'll imagine you do.
Hey man, I'll talk up Obi, dude. We were just chatting before. This last show they just did was ridiculous, dude. It was so good. I mean, just some of the like the style that he has with clips and stuff, dude, and just like
He's a master. It's a very underrated show and very well produced,
underrated.
super well produced. Like they need a much bigger following.
Yeah. So that's why I love talking about them, because their show, dude, it's inspiring. It's
Our big dumb
hilarious.
mouth. Our big dumb mouth. Yes.
You guys want to go through some nostalgia? Remember back in the day when we first started all the chats with the Grimerica,
Yeah.
and we were listening to podcasts together and using the chats to comment. And
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
we were synchronizing the podcast and
We
all
did.
listening at the same
Where
time.
you at? I'm at 11:22, dude.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
And then you'd start there, and we'd just roll on the floor laughing through chat.
I totally remember that.
Good times.
And that was always through with OBDM. We tried it.
And
with
all it
OBDM.
was that's how the whole chat thing started. Stop the hammering. Just over and over. Everyone would just be like saying,
Just
shit
saying
like that
piss.
the whole time.
Piss over and over again.
Piss, yeah. Piss all the time. Piss. What are you
It's so
doing?
good.
Piss. And then everybody would do it. Piss, 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 piss,
Piss,
piss.
I love it.
Good days.
But yeah, I mean, I think I was talking with Mike, and yeah, he's cool with us, man. He wants to do more stuff with him. We can do stuff with them. You know, it's cool. It's it's just another awesome relationship formed by just being real, dude. You know, and like
That's just talking about weird shit. You meet cool people.
Yeah.
Was Joe there too, or is just been?
No,
No,
it's
I
just
do
Mike.
want to talk to Joe though. I mean, he
Yeah,
he
we've
does
never
like-
talked to Joe.
No, but he
Yeah, get
listens
him on.
to the show. I know that, but so yeah, I would love to get Joe on for sure.
Joe's my favorite. He has the best perspective.
Yes.
He just brings the wildest shit to the table all the time. It's funny.
Yeah, but
They
anyway,
definitely have a good dynamic, them two.
they do have a great dynamic. Yeah,
So back to John Brisson.
yeah. Fix your gut.
Fix your gut.
Check it out. Yep.
Mhm.
.com.
Did you guys get any coaching for fixing your gut, or you
No.
guys are all set?
No, we didn't go like super into that aspect of things, but just I mean, there was a few questions and answers, and that I had, just like I kind of was saying before, that there's so many people I know that have issues, or I think I brought up something about what Mike has lupus, and so he had some comments and
Yeah.
stuff about that. So, but yeah, I mean, dude, yeah, and all of a sudden, yeah, you mentioned something like that, and his brain fires off, and he knows every stat possible. It's like insane. He's a great guy. Yeah, you gotta. Can't wait for you guys to listen to him. He's a wealth of knowledge.
Mhm.
Like you said, he's an encyclopedia, dude. It's like, but of the, I'm not gonna say of the fringe or the weird. He just, it's like he's like a fact machine. Yeah,
He's like the guru among conspiracy theorists.
right.
Mhm.
And yeah, he was just on big time shows, and here he is hanging with us.
Hey, he hangs out in the chats too. One more reason that you guys should join the Discord chats.
Oh, you can. Yeah, if you go check
Oh,
out
you can.
grimsteak.com. Yeah, grimsteak.com.
Dude, it's in the show notes. It's pinned on my Twitter. Follow at Gromsteak. The link's right there. It's in the
Oh,
notes.
that's why nobody goes to the
Exactly.
Discord. It's on your Twitter.
Yeah, we're
Oh,
on
we
all
wanna
the
go
stupid things, all the face back. I don't know. I just post the show on there. That's about it. I've gotten
Yeah.
some feedback here and there on stuff, but
Yeah, nobody sent us any emails. No donations.
It's because you haven't been pumping the show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know how else to do it. I mean, I'm like, what are you gonna?
Dude,
I'm not
it's
gonna sit
word
there
of mouth at this point. I mean,
Yeah,
really,
it's
we
like,
just
I'm
put
gonna
it
sit
out there.
and
We
blast it
throw
out every 10 minutes.
we
I don't
throw
understand
it
that.
up on
I
the
think-
social medias, and
I think we have everybody from the chats listening. So
Yeah, I have gotten like a couple more contacts on Twitter. I've actually found a couple more shows I want to dive into, like new podcasters and stuff.
well, yeah, dude, and it's like the numbers they're steadily going up. Like I could see
Yeah.
them going up, but nobody's interacting, which is
Yeah,
cool.
We're just we're just guys. We're just people. We have, these guys have a show. I'm randomly on every once in a while, but in the chats, we're just like everybody else. You talk
Just
to
hanging out. Yeah.
Yeah,
Find
it's a lot more
your
guys. They're
come
fucking
find your
awesome.
tribe.
That's all I-
Love you too, Phil.
Yeah, dude, the chats, it's just turning into a giant family. It's
Mhm.
cool. Like, it's a good place to be. Just like
Actually,
minds.
There have been a couple of other new people that joined. I got to chat.
Right, I was just saying that. Like lately, we've had it's not a full blown sausage fest. There's more women joining now, which is great.
Shout out to the women of Grimsteak.
Oh yeah, Lauren's been hanging out quite a bit in there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And who else? We got that one.
She's a sweetheart, and I had a hard
She
time
is.
there the other night, and she was there talking me through it, and just definitely a good person.
Oh yeah, she came into Zoom, didn't she?
Yeah, and she
that's right.
talked to me for like 3 hours when I was.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, she's
So,
a great person.
There was another one too. What the heck's her name?
The one chick, Diane, that Jerry brought in.
Yeah,
She hangs out.
shout out to Diane. She's from somewhere.
The Jerry
She's cool.
Circles.
Is she from Texas?
Jerry Circles.
Yeah, from Texas, I think.
Okay, so yeah, she was hanging with us one night. We were looking at we were in Zoom and you had the Aurora Borealis going, dude.
Oh yeah, we had the Northern Lights.
Leonidas and her were all hanging,
Yeah.
dude. And I think you were definitely on a different planet at that night.
I was in such awe
Yeah.
that the Northern Lights were kicking across every horizon possible. It was
crazy.
an amazing sight to see. I tried to catch it on the Zoom, but
You can see a
cameras
little bit. Yeah. Like,
Yeah, the
cameras don't
just...
pick it up unless it's
Exactly.
really popping.
And dude, that shit's just so detailed up there. I mean, cameras don't even do it justice. Like
way.
you're just
No, you when you see a picture of it, you just get like a quick glimpse of it, right? But when they're really popping with light, they're dancing everywhere. Literally, they call it the dancing lights, and they literally.
so you
dance.
can just see them moving around and like just like the wind, kind of, or like I mean,
Yeah.
oh yeah, man.
that quick.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
It's
interesting.
amazing.
Yeah.
it was definitely a mood altering evening for me
Oh, I
with with the Northern Lights kicking like that. It was definitely made my evening better. And I was kicking it with my best buds, so it was all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Enough about me, because this is your show.
Whatever. Nobody cares about us.
Yeah, contact us, man. We're just type in Cruising with Steak on a search engine. CRUZIN with STEAK.
Yeah, not steak with an AK.
You'll find all the random things we're on. I mean, that's all you got to do.
Yeah,
Send an email.
hang out. Come on.
It's not everybody that has the name Grimsteak.
That's
He's
true.
He's a 1 in a billion.
That's right.
It's kind of true. We should play a jingle or something, man. We haven't played a jingle in a long
segment.
time.
Find a segment.
What kind of segment you want to do?
Oh man.
Your pick, James. Phil, do you got a segment you want to do? Your pick,
Want to
Phil.
do a crypto?
Cryptozoology?
Yeah, sure. I don't know. I don't know what's happening lately. Well, we kind of went over that on Night Talk.
I'm not going to be chasing
Crypto night.
goofy interdimensional ape man. Come on.
Cruising with Steak. Crypto zoology segmento. Cruising with Steak. Crypto zoology segmento. Cruising with Steak. Crypto zoology segment. Yeah.
I skipped the whole cryptozoology phase.
Oh, for real?
Right
You
before
don't believe in monsters?
cryptocurrency.
I don't know what that shit is. I'm not going to go chase goofy interdimensional ape man. Come on.
They're obviously interdimensional.
Come on, YOLO.
Dude, they're just the robots of the Greys.
Oh, well, I would skip the other way around.
Oh, you think the Greys are little robots of the Bigfoot?
Probably. Well, Bigfoots are probably projecting reptilians into our brains to make us fearful. They're probably our overlords.
I would totally believe that. They live in the Hollow Earth, controlling us from the underground. Totally.
I think we just solved the mystery. This whole planet is controlled by Bigfoot.
Yeah, and everyone on it is controlled by stupid stories about Hollow Earth and Bigfoot and ETs.
Yep.
All right.
I got one that was 2 weeks ago. Couple sees Bigfoot in northern Ohio. Right up by
Oh,
me,
no
dude.
shit, man.
What the hell?
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. The anonymous man told whatever, I guess this is Bigfoot Research Organization
BFRO?
investigator that BFRO, dude, told Mark Duworth that they were driving on State Route 19 when they noticed a hairy being on October 28th, 2017. It was walking from a field across the road. As I pointed out to my wife, we watched it nonstop. It was 4:30 p.m., very clear, sunny day. The eyewitness described the creature as a two-legged, tall, and brown creature covered in thick hair. They believed it was about 8 foot tall, walking in long strides, easily able to step over the guardrail adjacent to the woods where it disappeared. We stopped to look around. It was hard to believe what we had seen. The man adds that they were totally in awe and that they were sure that what they saw was Bigfoot. Love it. Yeah,
Nice.
the worst is conducted a follow-up investigation and subsequent interview with the couple, but they seemed to be honest what they were talking about, what they claimed to see and have witnessed. And that was located in Sandusky County, which is lower Sandusky. Sandusky is where Cedar Point is. If
Yes, it
anyone
is.
knows about the
Yes,
greatest
it
roller
is.
coaster park in the
Dude,
entire
it
planet.
absolutely is. 100%.
So that was pretty cool.
There's been a video of a bizarre mutant 4-foot fish in North Carolina.
It had blue skin.
It did.
Like they actually have pictures of it?
I saw it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a little video. And see if maybe I can pull up some audio. No, that's no good.
It's a pretty catchy tune, though.
It was pretty catchy, wasn't it? What do we got here? Oh, Secure Team 10.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I think some people are saying it might be a hoax.
Yeah. What did they
Or
say? It
a
kinda
carp.
looked like a carp or something. right?
Yeah. It's just really
Yeah.
blue. It's this really blue, huge fish. Or, dude, it could be like a sturgeon. It could be anything.
It looked crazy, dude. Yeah, it did look like it was like
Sturgeon.
electric blue, dude. It's pretty
Yeah.
wild.
Somebody caught a fish.
Well, they
painted
didn't catch
with
it. They just
water.
recorded it. They recorded it swimming.
Swimming. It was like swimming, like half of its body's like out of the water, like, you know, the top half of it.
You know what I'm saying is somebody caught the fish, spray painted it with watercolor, and then let it go.
Oh,
You might be onto something there, Phil.
You guys never heard about
total
the pink
fakery.
seagulls?
The what?
What was it?
Pink seagulls.
No.
No, I don't think so.
Aren't those just flamingos?
No, we people I know would catch seagulls with snares and paint them pink.
Wow.
Let them go, and you'd have like pink and blue, and you have
Man.
multicolored seagulls hanging out every year. It's funny.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's cruelty to animals.
Yeah, that is pretty cruel. It's like some foie gras.
What was that
Foie
scary
gras.
thing where you would feed a seagull, you know, they eat like garbage, you know, here, take some Alka-Seltzer, and they're supposed to.
Oh yeah, they're supposed to explode. I think that was an
Yeah.
urban legend, or it's
probably
true.
an urban legend.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
Well, I don't know about you guys in the United States, but we have our fair share of seagulls out here.
Oh yeah, dude, we got
we
gulls.
got
They're
to. I
probably
have-
larger. They're probably like what, the size of like probably a moose, small moose. The seagulls up there.
That's great.
Yep.
There's an urban legend that we do this show with our shirts off.
Well, 2/3 of the people have shirts off.
Totally.
Totally. That's not urban
And
legend.
it's another shout out to OVD. I'm wearing leather socks too. I love that. Dude.
Oh, and other news, Bill Cosby's finally in prison.
Ooh.
Dude, he's gone. He's facing up to 10 years for every count on the retrial that they had. So he's basically gonna rot in jail for the rest of his life.
Yeah. J.E.
Dude.
Hell no.
Yeah, dude.
Well, I thought he had money though. Doesn't he have money that he can live in one of those fancy jails with like the resort hotel and
Yeah,
just
maybe. It's probably. I mean, yeah, it's not like prison. No, he's definitely gonna go into one of those white collar
Like
jails.
Martha Stewart jail.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Martha Stewart jail.
hmm Oh, and how? Okay, let's talk about North Korea, South Korea, and dude, that's amazing. And I honestly feel if things go forward, they should give Trump the Nobel Peace Prize. I'm gonna say it. Like, dude, this is like groundbreaking, amazing stuff, and people are still finding a reason to shit all over it. That's what makes me sick.
What's going on right now?
Did you watch that video of just like Kim coming over the through the demilitarized zone, like stepping over the border, shaking? Like, dude, I felt something when I watched that, man.
Yeah,
it was like, it was great,
thing, dude.
Yeah, dude, it's great, and people are just fucking Trump.
Dude, it's so hard to.
Dude, they can't. The problem is they can't.
It's so
handle,
hard to put a smile on your face. I don't get it. Why is that so fucking hard, dude?
Dude, they can't handle the dragon energy. Him and Kanye, they're just puking out dragon energy.
It's the fear porn.
Right. I mean,
well, and the midterms are coming up, and
flipping on MSN, MSN mainstream media.
The M5M, James.
M5M, my bad. You're gonna get just lambasted with any evil opportunity. Like you're not gonna get anything good on
Right.
They don't put good things on TV.
No, they don't.
Which is why you shouldn't really.
Which is why you should keep listening to podcasts like Cruising with Steak, podcasts like Nox Mente, podcasts like Grimerica,
breaking news, guys.
OBDM.
The State Department has just reviewed all the documents between North and South Korea and have deemed that nuclear testing will go on.
Oh, for real? you just punking me? You're punking me right now?
Yeah, I'm punking you.
Oh, okay.
That's all it is,
North
man.
and South Korea are getting back together. Isn't it?
Welcome, Jerry.
Hey.
Yeah, dude.
Hanging out
we were just talking about how, dude, it's a great thing. It's a great thing, and people are still finding reasons to just like say no, Trump.
Oh, I know.
Yeah,
That's why
It's all fake news.
it is all fake news.
We just believe there are people who believe that.
Yeah, that is true. Oh God, just a cycle of believing and not believing. Endless nonsense.
Yes.
just believe what you want to believe.
Mm-hmm.
That's all you got to do.
I'm confused now. I don't know what I don't have to believe in anymore.
Nothing.
Just remember this failed.
Your eyes are what you see what you see.
And you don't know what you don't know.
True.
That's right. And
That's a
I know
fact.
that I don't know that I know that I don't know. So
Remember that time? No.
go ahead.
At band camp.
That one time?
This one time
So-
at band camp.
At that place with that chick and with the thing in the car that had the blue
back.
Yeah.
And the guys couldn't find their car.
Right.
Yes. I totally don't remember that.
It happened. So we got any more business to take care of on this intro before you guys enjoy this great show with John Brisson? Anything?
John's going to be on my show this week.
There you go. Tune in to Nox Mente. Nox Mente. Tune in. Check it out. And just send good vibes. High five somebody this week. Give somebody a hug.
Yeah.
I need a hug.
Give somebody
I
a
should go find.
reach
I should
around.
go find a random person here and give them a hug.
Do it, man. Hugs are
It'd be
great.
great. Shake a hand. Something.
Shake a hand. Jerk a dick. Whatever you got to do. do your
I'll leave
thing.
that one up.
Hug a tree.
Hug a tree.
Hey, in 3 weeks, buddy.
But most of all,
Holy
enjoy-
shit! 3 weeks away.
enjoy the
from
show.
3 weeks away.
Oh, shit.
Somebody's getting contacted in a cabin.
3 weeks away.
All right. Enjoy the show. Enjoy the chat. We're wrapping this bitch up.
We off this bitch.
Goodbye.
Cruising with steak style.
We'll be right back after this break. Thanks for tuning in to Cruising with Steak.
I hit record like how long ago? Like 8 minutes ago. I'm debating whether or not to just even leave in all that anime talk, because I mean, no, we'll
Good for the masses.
it is, man. See, because this like humanizes people. We're like, oh yeah, anime, I remember that. That's good, and then they're just gonna get their fucking minds torn apart by all this dark shit in the world. And I love it.
I mean, I don't even like drink caffeine now. A lot of people that blows people's minds. Like the only caffeine I get is like the little bit of chocolate I ingest every so often.
Oh man,
And
I
people are
gotta
like,
have.
How
I
do you
gotta,
get through the day without coffee or tea or anything like that? I'm just like, the psychoactive substance. I don't need it.
Yeah, dude, I used to slam energy drinks like crazy, and then I just stopping those. Like, I swear I had like withdrawal symptoms when I came off of those.
Oh yeah, I believe it. Probably from the B vitamins and niacin. And
It was
I'm
so
addicted
much.
to Monster Energy.
You know, I just pretty much just drink coffee and water.
Monster Energy. I got a bunch of them here.
I'm a fast caffeine clearer, but I don't
Monster
choose.
Energy. I have. What else do I have here? 5 Hour Energies.
Those are good. I like them.
I have Mio. I
Gotta
have
stay
those.
awake.
I drink nothing but water and 100% unsweetened fruit juices. Look how fucking plain I am.
Oh man, it's good though. You don't have all that shit. Well, yeah, because you are John Brisson from FixYourGut.com. Welcome to Cruising with Steak.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Yeah, I mean, what are we talking about tonight? We're talking about health. We're talking about what you shouldn't eat. We're talking about anime.
Of course. Dude, I want to go real dark and real deep. And just go all in on wrestling.
See, okay, let's talk about wrestling too. We can also get on the dark, deep part of wrestling too.
Yeah, dude.
I gotta be like
The
Alex
grizzly
Jones.
side of.
I gotta be like Alex Jones. That part where he hit the realest part he ever was in his whole entire life when he hit that blood on the Joe Rogan Experience. You know, he was like,
Yeah.
Let me tell you about them interdimensional pedophiles. Let me talk to you about that for a minute. You know, that's the only time.
Dude, that was such a great show. I loved that show so much. They went into so much shit.
Rogan kept asking him, "Are aliens real, man?" He's like, "Look, what we have here are interdimensional child molesters
beings." Okay? Listen here, I just got done eating a full plate of enchiladas. I'm full of gassy. I mean, that was like, let's talk about Alex Jones' meltdown over Trump bombing Syria.
Oh my God. That was gold.
He was like crying in the corner.
Fuck!
Like, God, who was it? It wasn't Rob Dew. It was the other guy. I don't watch InfoWars anymore, so I get the generic people.
Their 36-hour special they had on.
Oh yeah, dude, they had to save the world.
He was like sitting in the corner or like standing beside Alex, like sitting beside him, like super uncomfortable. You know, you could tell like his eyes are like, what the? Hey, Alex Jones is sitting there. He's like, listen here, folks. I was wrong about Trump. And listen here. It's like a girlfriend breaking up with you. And I can't take it, folks. They're coming after my family. They're coming after me. I mean, and then literally like 2 days later, I shit you not. All right. He goes, folks, I'm sorry about last night. It's a battle. It's a battle between good and evil. And, you know, I was hungry. My blood sugar was low. You know, Trump can redeem himself, folks. I'm sorry about last night. You know, I didn't have any enchiladas or any burgers, you know, trying to, you know, because it's funny. Josh Reeves, who I'm a big fan of, he always makes fun of Alex Jones and talks about how Alex Jones has an affinity for enchiladas and stuff like that. And that makes me roll when he does his Alex Jones impression because it's so freaking funny. Talk about Alex Jones slinging a Jew gold and dick pills. You know, and it's funny when you think about it. You know, there's this how much of a comic. I mean, you guys remember? I actually read the court documents of Rebecca Nichols and Alex Jones's divorce. And allegedly, it would appear to me that it appeared that Alex Jones may have gotten a little physical for the court documents. May not be true, but that's the way it looked like. But, you know, everybody remembers, or maybe no one remembers, the part where Alex Jones' little testimony, like defense, was that he's an actor. And it's all an act.
Yep. Yeah.
You know? I mean, come on, people. I mean, look, I am grateful to Alex Jones and will always be, and I'm pretty sure Josh Reeves is too, that he helped wake. Well, Josh Reeves was always more woken than I was. I was a neocon. I used to love Sean Hannity, and the Bushes were great. Bushes were good, and my Reagan, values of being a Reagan realist, and Oliver North was a great American, and everything. And Alex Jones did wake me up, in 2007, 2008-ish, when he was on Coast to Coast AM, scared the living shit out of me one night, because he was like, folks, let me tell you, we're going to round us all up and put us into FEMA camps, folks. It's all over, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, holy shit, I trust the government, like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? So then I looked it up in 9/11 being an inside job, and sure as shit, from what I could tell, he was right. 9/11 was an inside job, and boy, was I an idiot for ever believing otherwise. So I am grateful for Jones for that, and I'm pretty sure, I would assume Grimm or James, that one of y'all had to have at least. Alex Jones had to be part of your awakening too, I would assume, to some degree, right? Or am I the only one here that? Or
Alex Jones, he was always there. Like, I mean, I wouldn't say that I actually listened to him and took anything, but some of the things he nailed, like, and he was actually right on. So it's like, but he's always been more of an entertainment value for me. Like, I've always looked at him as something to get a good laugh from. Like, that's.
See, I used to listen to Alex Jones on the radio, dude. Like, I never, before YouTube and all that shit, and like through like somebody I worked with, they were listening to him. They were a lot older than I was, and it was the whole. I would say, right before Obama became president, his first term.
Wow, so around the same time I did.
Yes, and he was all about the fucking birther shit,
Yeah.
But then I as listening to him, that's what the lady that I worked with was all about. He's like, he's not even fucking American, da da da, and he wasn't born here, shit like that, just spouting off like all that kind of stuff. And but then that's when I dove a little deeper into Alex Jones, and like checking all the his past doings and what he was all about. And I'm like, man, this dude, back then it was just a lot of like screaming in his basement, like, and but then he was syndicated, man, which was pretty crazy. Like,
yeah, I mean, you guys probably aware of oh God, what is his name? I'm about to think about it. It draws a blank on me.
Like a radio guy?
He was. He had his own radio show. He was killed.
Behold a Pale Horse.
Yes, William Cooper, Bill Cooper.
Yeah, Bill Cooper. Yeah.
Bill Cooper. I remember, which I can't believe I blanked on Bill Cooper's name. Forgive me.
No, I did too. I knew his book, but I didn't know his name.
but I remember listening to Bill Cooper calling out Alex Jones. I mean, back in 2000, that Alex.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I remember listening to the Y2K episode, Sign of the Times, and him just talking like playing clips of Jones being like, "That's it, folks. The Russians have launched the nukes. There was a Y2K glitch. They're hitting the United States right now. As you speak, you better say your prayers. You better take your vitamins. You better kiss your kids, folks. It's all over." And then fucking Bill Cooper being like, "It's all a sham," and everything. And I'm like, it's just crazy how. I mean, Alex Jones sits there and he goes, "Listen, folks, my dad, he's on the CIA.
Oh yeah,
he was also a dentist. A CIA dentist, folks. And
he'll tell you what's wrong with the toothpaste."
Yeah, I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, and then the toothpaste that they have, the super blue toothpaste.
Yeah, Jerry Silver.
Jerry, welcome to the show.
Nuclear microbiome.
John.
Yeah, Jerry.
Is it safe?
No, it's never safe.
No, it's the dentist joke. Never mind.
Okay.
You don't get it.
I thought
you never read Marathon Man.
No, I haven't. You had me confused there for a minute.
There's a Nazi scientist who's probably modeled after Mengele, who's a dentist.
Is it safe to put me under?
No. He's a dentist, and he captures the CIA. There's a CIA agent and his younger brother who doesn't know he's a CIA agent, and Nazi captures and tortures him by drilling his teeth out without Novocaine. And every time he drills out a tooth, he asks him, "Is it safe?" He wants to know if his diamonds are safe, this package. The kid has no idea what he's talking about. Gets all his teeth drilled out. It's agonizing.
Yeah, I think I seen the movie a long time ago. Was it Dustin Hoffman in it, if I remember?
Yeah.
Okay, then yeah, I've seen it. Yeah,
The movie was shitty though.
yeah, it was.
Aren't they all?
Too much.
No, I don't know. I enjoy film and television. Anyway, back to colloidal silver.
But yeah, toothpaste has got blue dye in it. You know, you think that toothpaste, you're fighting a new world order. You know, you don't want that blue dye in there. You know, folks, let me tell you, I got them dick pills, and I got Roger Stone coming on the next hour. You know, come get me Roger Stone. You know, I got that super blue toothpaste with my CIA dad dentist says is good. You know, it's just when Alex Jones talks about his dad being a CIA dentist, it's like, so what? During like times he was like capping and drilling people's teeth and freaking Rockwall, he was like going out and doing missions down there in freaking like Panama or something.
George Bush Senior's teeth.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous, man. It's like when you start looking into this stuff and you find out later that more than likely Alex Jones is part of the John Birch Society and the Council for National Policy, you know, these right-wing groups. You know, Josh Reeves documentary, Secret Right, Volume 1 and 2. You know, you're just like, you look back and you're like, well, are any of these so-called truth tellers really truth tellers? You know, what? Especially, everybody knows right before the Syrian thing, Alex Jones goes out there and he does this free speech thing to stop the Syrian war, you know, meeting at, Washington, D.C. Was he there just to get his orders? You know, him and good old Jerome Corsi get down to the bottom of QAnon. You know, get down to the truth, folks. Get down to the truth with Jerome Corsi next. You know, it's just what was he in Washington D.C. for? Getting his marching orders? It's just
to say this.
Yeah.
Damn it, man! What the fuck? Is there nobody fucking pure in this goddamn fucking world? See, now I'm fucking pissed right now. Syria fought Al Qaeda, they fought ISIS, they fought it all, and now you got Mattis and fucking all these people shitting all over us. And the goddamn fucking liberal fascists censoring us everywhere the last 2 days. We did an emergency fucking.
Oh.
And fucking Mueller and fucking Comey and fuck you. Every major analyst. See,
Notice he doesn't call him Mueller like everyone else.
Agrees that this could trigger World War III, unlike anything in our history. And the Russians were the good guys battling ISIS and Al Qaeda. I'm not a Russophile. I've never been to Russia.
A Lusophile.
I've studied the geopolitics. They are the white knights. And our military 5 years ago joining the Russians to block Obama and the Arab Spring and do the right thing, did the right thing. And now Mattis looks like a fucking Emperor Palpatine. And that cocksucker knows full fucking well that Al Qaeda and ISIS staged all those fucking chemical attacks. And now they're blaming it on the goddamn motherfucking. I shouldn't be on air right now. When the fuck are we going live? I can't do this shit anymore.
Go live!
Fuck Trump and fuck these fucking people.
Fuck Trump.
So how did that get out?
He leaked it.
Part of that 36
It
hours.
was part of the stream, man. I was there when it happened. I was like, crap.
I've seen him do that before, man, live. Yeah, holy shit.
I mean, I admit it. Yeah. It's not that I don't agree with Alex there to some degree.
Yeah.
Even though I do think Russia's in on it too. Everybody's in on it. Like that.
They're all in on it, man. Everybody's in on it.
Well, I know, but I mean, we're all passionate about fuck them and fuck them.
Yeah.
And of course, he say fuck Russia because we all know Alex Jones just got some ties in with Russia 100%, you know, with the Scientology and everything else, but it's all there, you know. So it's just interesting when you look at it all. You know, it's just, I mean, your audience, if they really want to look into the work of Josh Reeves, watch the movie The Spellcasters. You'll know more about how, okay, so a lot of people know that I go back and forth on how I look at Trump. You know, I'm not 100% that Trump's in on it. I'm not 100% Trump's part of the Council for National Policy because he shoots from the hip a little bit too much. He has to be one of the best actors we've ever seen. Because if you believe 100% that Trump's controlled with all the crap that he says, then you also have to believe hook, line, and sinker that so was John Fitzgerald Kennedy, who was American first with the Regneries, pro-Nazi, with good friends with James Forrestal, part of the 13 satanic bloodlines the Kennedy family was. And why did Kennedy break away and decide to try to help our country? Lord, I'll never know.
To put a man in the moon?
No, that never happened either. To quote James Fetzer, we never walked on the moon. At least during that time period. We may have afterwards. But, you know, it's just interesting how everybody like thinks JFK is like the best thing ever in the world, that he can do nothing wrong. But you have to look at it with Trump. I mean, Trump's like Kennedy in a lot of ways, and granted, not as good as Kennedy, but I mean, he does talk from the hip. He has to be like, I remember, I'll disclose it. I voted for Donald Trump. I did. Not that I think that it couldn't go wrong, because it could, because I knew his Council for National Policy Ties. It's just, I mean, he was destined to win anyway.
Praise Keck. Praise Keck. Just do it. Go all in.
No, I mean, who do we rather win? I mean, really, would you rather have Hillary Clinton as president? Really?
No, fuck
no. So at least with Trump, you got maybe 5% chance on bad days and maybe a 20% chance on good days that maybe something good's going to come out of it, like John Fitzgerald Kennedy or John Adams or Andrew Jackson. You know, that maybe we'll get something good out of this presidency. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe some people could look at it too, like Michael Joseph, that JFK may have been a willing martyr who knew he was going to die to become a martyr. Maybe.
Oh man,
Trump's the same way. I don't know. But one thing I do know is they can't keep getting away with their games, because it's not working, man.
Yeah.
It's not working anymore. You can read comments of whether it's on Breitbart shilling for the bombings of Israel. You know, I mean, bombings done by Israel, should I say, on Syria, and the United States bombings too. Going and shilling that it's the right thing to do. And you read the comment sections and people are like, no, we don't want war. I mean, did they think they couldn't fool us when Obama wanted to take over Syria to be part of the plan? Because that's what they're doing when they're taking these countries over. They want the relics. They want this old technology that's there.
Yeah.
That's why we raided the Baghdad museums.
Right.
They want the oil.
I wonder what they really found in those, man. Yeah, that'd be cool to like dig deep on that shit. But
oh yeah, I wish I really know what they found.
Yeah, I wish we knew, right? Yeah, like
yeah, but we'll never know. I mean, hell, if we really did go to the,
it was a Stargate, wasn't it? They found a Stargate.
That's what they claim.
And red-haired giants.
That's what they claim.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's what the thing is we really never know what's truly going on.
That's the sucky part. Yeah,
I know it is. Like, for example, did Barbara Bush die today? Did
right.
She die yesterday?
Rest in peace, Barb.
Ago? You know, I mean, where does it ever end?
That is funny. My wife's like, didn't she die already?
Or maybe we lived in a timeline because they manipulated the timelines with CERN where she did die 2 days ago.
How is it that she survives a husband with a broken neck?
I mean, so now George H.W. Bush is going to die. And did you guys see McCain's in the hospital dying from intestinal failure?
You know,
I knew he was really sick.
Dude, he's yeah.
Go. I predicted this. They're all gonna fucking die, and then all the nasty shit's gonna come out.
Yeah.
Or they're all gonna quote unquote die.
Well, or are they dying or they're going away? I mean, this would be realistic here. I mean,
who knows?
I talked about it in Gramerica, but do you guys want me to talk about Two Boots McCain again? I mean, that was literally the
just one thing. I remember the thing with the Bush about the redacted like JFK shit. You know, like that was still like blacked out. You know, all those names, all these top, you know, like George Bush or whatever, you know, senior, and how implicated these guys are because they're still alive. You know, like.
Yeah, but like the only thing that we got out of the JFK documents was that Officer J.D. Tippit. It was head of the John Birch Society in Houston, and the John Birch Society played a role in JFK's assassination. I mean, we all know that to be true. So it's just interesting how I mean, with JFK, if he wasn't a willing martyr for the cause, and he really was bucking the system and then died because of it. I mean, you got a laundry list of people that probably had some part of the assassination of John Fitzgerald Kennedy. I mean,
compartmentalized back then, probably.
Yeah, you have mafia, you have John Birch Society, you have the communists, you have the globalist faction, or what modern day times is known as the Council on Foreign Relations. You have all these intercompeting groups that would have wanted to kill Kennedy, would have worked together. So it's sad. It really truly is sad when you look at it. is the same thing happening to Trump? I mean, are they going to impeach Trump? I mean, they can't impeach Trump at 52% approval rating. It ain't why.
They're not gonna impeach him. He hasn't done anything that's impeachable.
Right.
So what are they going to do? They going to kill him?
Well, first of all, the special counsel was appointed illegally because no crime had been committed.
Well, we all know that, but I mean, your average, person on the street, they don't know that.
No, dude, collusion, Russian collusion.
Fucking lawyer's office.
Do those people even exist? Are they real?
Are they all just AI? Part of the construct?
They are real. They are real. Let's not go full simulation theory here, okay? I mean, of course, we all know, according to Twitter, that Mike Cernovich and Scott Adams came up with simulation theory that, wasn't out in the ether before them, too. So it's funny when you just look at it. It's like, so people always ask me, who do I go for the truth? And I'm like, there's only a select few group of people that I go to for my news. Most of the dissemination I do myself, and that's what I suggest most people do. They go to 4chan, they go to 8chan,
most definitely.
They go to Godlike Productions. You go maybe to Drudge if you want the headlines. You got to go read the stories yourself and use the power of discernment yourself. Because even I, who I try to give truth as much as I possibly can, even I sometimes will infer something wrong or read something wrong or put something together wrong. With my big, huge, massive papers like John Nash I have
on your whiteboard
shed, connecting everything together.
I can imagine, dude, those like red string, just all these paths connecting. So it's like, and there's disinfo agents everywhere. I mean, it's I do listen to Higher Side Chats and I do listen to Gramerica, and it just those guys.
It just depends. And I do listen to Cruise with Steak and stuff like that. You guys so far haven't had any disinfo agents on that I can tell you.
Not yet.
Gramerica had a few though, but it wasn't like Darren and Graham. No, it was just like R. Wayne Steiger was gold member CNP. He's got his own truth thing on YouTube. It is what it is. Every now and then you're going to get somebody who sneaks in. But you can judge by somebody by the fruits of their labor and what they get from, and the bigger their following and how much they're scraping by, and that's why Alex Jones is so rich, is because, or at least exposure is because it's allowed to be put out there. And I mean, that's what it is. I mean, it's a sad way of measuring it, but anybody who gets too big, they get that proverbial tap on the shoulder. I think it's time for you to stop searching for the truth, and some people do, and some people don't.
Do you think that happened to Rogan, even though he denies it?
Oh God, that happened to Rogan. Yes, it happened to Rogan a lot. I don't trust Rogan as far as I can throw a brick. I haven't.
Yeah.
I mean, he had association with Jan Irving from Gnostic Media, and good old Jan is when you're calling Greg Carlwood a CIA shill, you need to come talk to me, because Jan.
That's pretty crazy, right?
I like Jan.
You like Jan?
I do. I mean, once again, the stuff that I've seen, which is selective, which is strictly the Scaligari stuff, I like that, and I have no way to prove it, or either way, it's just information, though.
I mean, Jerry, I listen to Jan because a friend of mine, a really good personal friend of mine, likes Gnostic Media, and I do listen to Jan from time to time. But there's some things that Jan says that are completely like, Aleister Crowley is the most evil person in the world. Like, really? Like, we're going to forget L. Ron Hubbard.
I know. Well, they let their mind control out sometimes.
Yeah.
Everybody does. You got to forgive them.
It is what it is.
You got to forgive them.
Of course, I'm not.
You do. It's hard to break programming,
It is. But then again, Jerry, I'm not going to say that, of course, Aleister Crowley didn't do nothing wrong. He's trying to get his life together. And
how do we know? He might not even fucking existed for all we know.
That is true. I've never met him. So therefore, that is a possibility with the missing chronology.
But you know what? Barbara Bush fucked him, right?
It's true.
No, Barbara Bush was because her mother fucked.
Yeah. Right, Barbara Bush is Crowley's kid. Yeah, that's right.
Was it Barbara or Nancy Reagan that was all into the occult stuff?
Nancy Reagan did everything with astrology.
Yeah, that's what. Okay.
They both were.
But they were doing the profane astrology.
Yes. They were sacrificing chickens to Moloch in the back.
That kind of crap.
Kids. So
low energy, bad magic.
Yeah.
That's nasty.
It is
That is nasty.
Did you watch that Djibouti dubs that I dropped into chat?
No, I didn't.
God damn, that was hilarious. The Shazam movie, and apparently there's a lot of
God,
cream in that
again.
movie. So I'm going to make Genie cream.
Oh, Jesus.
All time, it's hilarious.
I mean, let me tell you, I do believe the movie with Sinbad, the genie movie.
Yeah.
I swear that movie's real, and I swear I saw it with my father.
Wait a minute. It's with Shaq. It's Shaquille O'Neal, not Sinbad.
No, I know. I've seen Shazam.
And when I was watching this
talking
today,
about
I'm
Kazam.
like, I thought Sinbad was in this movie.
No, but there is another movie called Kazam, which was
That's the
made
Mandela effect.
with Sinbad.
You get,
And
you get.
it's one of those Mandela effect things where I promise you I saw it with my dad because my dad was one of the biggest Sinbad.
No.
fans
Shaquille
of all time.
O'Neal's the Kazam.
No, Jerry, I know that, but it depends on what timeline you live in. Get with the program.
Get with
Wait. Who was talking about flipping back and forth between the Clinton Trump? Was that you?
Yes.
I want to explore that.
Okay.
tonight.
What we slip between timelines?
Not right now. I mean, let's stay
Okay.
on the Kazam.
I mean, it's the same thing. Some people come from the timeline where there was never a parody movie of Kazam called Shazam with Sinbad, and some people come from the timeline like me where there was a parody movie of Kazam called Shazam with Sinbad, and it was hilarious, like all Sinbad movies, hilariously bad.
Why doesn't someone just ask Sinbad if he was in a movie called Shazam?
He does.
They
He
did.
says he doesn't. But
Yeah.
you could be getting the Sinbad from the timeline where the movie never happened.
There's people have a videotape of it.
That is true. If it is from that Sinbad where it didn't exist, I mean, how would you know? Yeah, because
What
he
about
never did.
Bernstein what about Bernstein and?
Oh, it was always Bernstein.
That's
That's-
just stupid people.
No,
it
I'm
was
then
always,
I'm
it was
a,
always Bernstein Bears.
it was always Bernstein.
Look, it's Shazam
Oh
with
no,
Sinbad.
that college humor video is fake, Bo.
Yeah, that was an April
Oh,
Fool's
fuck,
joke.
It was real.
College humor. Yeah.
He says it's real.
No, he
Hey
doesn't.
guys, Bill Spadia here. We had
I don't think we're gonna find the answers on the first page hits of a Google search, Jer.
Did you know
was
that?
there a movie called Kazam or Shazam?
There is in an alternate timeline. There
in,
was.
in another
I
dimension.
remember seeing that movie though.
Yes, you're from that timeline.
You're getting
Same as
Mandela's.
me.
The night.
Nope.
The Twosies?
It's Shazammy. They're making another one. Oh no,
You're
it's
from
Shazam.
that timeline, Jerry.
You
I
discover it
remember
on
Exclamation mark.
IMDb right now. Well,
Well, fuck
what
me
are-
sideways.
what are? I mean, Mandela effect's an interesting thing.
I love
really
it.
is.
So
And it
sometimes
seems-
I actually watch it flip. Like I remember watching them trying to steal the election from Trump when Pittsburgh on Pennsylvania went from like Trump was winning at the very end, like it was
Dude,
99%
yeah.
counted. And I remember staying up at night and then flipping back Pittsburgh, going back to 91% counted for like 30 minutes. And people got on Twitter, they're like, they're trying to steal the election. They're trying to steal the election. They're trying to steal the election. And then it stopped and it flipped back and then everything went back to normal. I remember
Oh,
witnessing
man. Wow.
Yeah. I remember. I actually, speaking back to Alex Jones, I watched that crazy another 36-hour. I watched the election night on Alex's channel, which was just epic, dude. I mean, they were just sweating bullets to just full-on boners. It was insane. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
and
it was so
They
great.
broke out the champagne.
Oh, dude, they were like, oh yeah, it was. Anybody, just go watch some of that. It's just off the charts. Great.
I saw that Sinbad movie.
Dude, you're from the timeline that existed, Jerry. So was
Is that
I.
why? Is that why we spelled dilemma with an N?
That could be another reason too. Yes.
Dilemma.
I bet Hillary won in that one.
Probably.
Maybe CERT messed up the timelines, man. There's certain points.
Maybe John Teeter messed up the timelines.
You know,
Well,
I
is John Teeter Trump?
Or is he? He was just trolling on message
Trump
boards.
was John Teeter.
Oh shit!
Baron Trump would be because he was the went the time traveler. Baron Trump's fantastic journey or whatever.
No. Some people say it could be Donald Trump or it could be Barron Trump, even though the book was named after Barron Trump. because of Fred Trump, Donald Trump's uncle, getting the Tesla documents.
Yeah.
Look, if there's time travel, then the Anunnaki are time travelers, time traveling humans. They're all fucking CIA agents who just went back in time to be God.
Yeah.
So they glow in the dark like Terry A. Davis would say.
Oh, they put on costumes or something. How are you gonna?
They just
How
put
hard
antennas
is it gonna
on.
be to fool people 8,000 years ago?
It's like the Teenyverse episode of Rick and Morty. He just puts antennas on his head. He's an alien god.
That's exactly
Peace
what
on
it
Earth.
is. What if every time they go back in time to fuck with it, we get pushed down into a new copy?
That's a possibility.
And we're in like a 20 deep nested universe because of them fucking around with the timeline.
Shit. It all started when CERN. It all started with CERN, man. When CERN started getting kicked on.
Which version?
Wait a minute. Well, CERN wasn't here. CERN was inserted into this reality, but whatever. I'll tell you this. It's going to be like Inception. If we're nested universes, it's going to be like a year outside for every, and then outside of that, it's 10 years and 100. So that's why everything's slowly destructing here. It's a slow self-destruction,
so
right?
deeply incepted. All we see is the jump roping girl. That's it.
Just listen for the music.
Scary Terry's going to get us, bitch.
You can run, but you can't hide, bitch.
Fun Sinbad story. I heard about how he was really into astral projecting. Have you ever heard that?
Yeah, I have.
Yeah, okay.
As Shazam or as himself?
No, as himself. And yeah, he was telling a story. It might have been on Rogan, but about how far he was into it, and one night how he was like so far into it where he got punched by like a demonic entity, however you're saying
entity. You got it right. You're good.
Entity.
Entities.
Yes. And and he got so scared, like he never did it again after that.
I mean, am I the only one who thinks Sinbad's freaking hilarious?
Oh, Sinbad's great, man. I loved his stand-up when I was younger. They'd run like 2 specials on Comedy Central, and I'd love it.
Yeah.
Dude, man of the house guest.
Is it just me, or is just comedy not the same anymore?
I don't pay attention to it that much anymore.
There's some good stand-up out there right now. There's some pretty good stand-up.
Maybe I'm just getting old. I don't know.
John, you're not that old. We're like the same age. And that means I'm old.
But
I'm not old.
Feel old.
Yes. Dude, it's from that alternate dimension.
I grew up on Eddie Murphy and shit, dude. Like Raw. Eddie Murphy Raw, dude. Stuff like that. That's fucking gold.
I mean, I love Eddie Murphy. I love Chris Rock.
Yeah.
I love Bill Hicks. Or Alex Jones, should I say?
George Carlin, dude.
Yeah, it's all good, and I don't know. To me, it's just not.
Well, those were the mega stars, of it back then. But I don't.
Dude, let's get to this.
There are a lot of Netflix specials
before we get
all comedians, but
before we get too far away from the alternating dimensions, let's talk about this Trump Hillary switching back and forth timelines or whatever.
Okay, so there's probably one timeline where Hillary won, and there's one timeline where Trump won. And sometimes it seems like when Trump's doing good, and I actually think he might be a time traveler, when he's really hitting things on point. I mean, really hitting things, the tariffs, illegal immigration, fighting the globalists, getting our troops. It's like, okay, the prime example. Trump talks about withdrawing all the troops from Syria, putting them on the border. I got no problem with that. I would assume you guys have no problem with that. Get our troops home.
Get them back. Yep.
And then like the next week we're bombing Syria.
Yeah.
So you tell me that doesn't seem like there's a change, and what was that change during that time period was a lot of people just never saw this. Was Arnold Schwarzenegger had a heart attack.
Really? I didn't know that.
It's either they're firing up CERN, and they're manipulating the timelines every so often, where it changes. Where Trump is sometimes our guy, and Trump is sometimes maybe his own man, and maybe sometimes Trump's part of the CNP. And it keeps flashing back and forth, and that's why.
What's the CNP, John?
Council for National Policy.
Okay.
So it keeps that's why have you guys noticed that past year or two, a lot of them are freaking dying. A lot of them.
Yeah.
Dude, there's a lot of them dropping off. Yeah. It all started with who was it? Was it Rothschild who died last year?
It was Rockefeller.
Oh, it was Rockefeller. That's right. Rockefeller died last year.
So that's what it is they're having to sacrifice more and more to correct the timeline, to keep it on their timeline where something bad happens to Trump or Trump is their guy, and they can regain power. They keep having to do these sacrifices to up the game. Now, what's counterbalancing those sacrifices that's pushing it back into this alternate timeline where things actually might come out okay? I don't know. I don't know what the heck's behind
Is he
that.
like playing that 5D chess type shit where he's like challenging himself in the multiverse?
There's one timeline where QAnon is correct.
Uh-huh.
Oh, man.
I don't think we're in that timeline. I think we're in the timeline where QAnon is correct sometimes. Because
do you think it's
shifted back and forth?
That means we're in the Man in the High Castle timeline.
Probably, yeah.
I feel QAnon, like, it's a numbers game. If you say something and you put out multiple threads daily, you're gonna hit something sooner or later. So it's
but the thing I'm talking about, there's been times where QAnon's hit things that are completely 100% dead on.
Yeah.
Days before.
And it's not that whoever it is just putting things out. Like, I really believe that majority of the time, QAnon is Jerome Corsi's controlling it. Council of National Policy is controlling QAnon. 100% it's co-opted. But there are a few instances where it's some weird timeline shifts where all of a sudden QAnon says something that even they would not want to get out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then I'm sitting here and I'm like, well, damn, what, and most of the time when that's happening, Trump's doing the right things. I don't know. I don't want to be like Josh Reeves and say that Trump is not our guy at any at all. I mean, I guess it's possible, but to me, it's just some of the stuff that he does is just too much bull in the china shop. If Trump's at least his own guy, I at least applaud the bull in the china shop. Burn it all down, expose it for what it is, be arrogant enough to burn this motherfucker to the ground.
Come on, Pookie.
I mean, it's if that's what it is, and if that's the timeline it is, then that's the timeline it is. It's not the optimal timeline where Trump's a time traveler, and he's come to save the day. God Emperor Trump. And I will say that more than likely God Emperor Trump was a meme that was made by the Council for National Policy to make Trump look like he did nothing wrong. But we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of magic going on, a lot of timeline fuckery.
What is it? Grant Cameron always says that presidents get pulled in and they get to go through like some secret doorway that advances them into the future. You ever hear him talk about that kind of stuff? Yeah, it's fucking crazy. He's like, all presidents, like, or I don't know, all of them, but like the last, whatever, certain.
Well, isn't it strange how they all age like incredibly? Like any of them? Well, I mean, basically we've only had 8-year presidents for the past like 30 years. So it's like after that 8-year term, they aged like 30 years. It looks like it's insane. Maybe it has something to do with time travel, or who knows?
Portal travel, back and forth, back and forth.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's hard to determine.
But when you really get down,
I could be wrong, and there could be one timeline. I don't know, but it's just. And most people say, well, the information that appears and disappears on the internet, that's just them manipulating the internet, which could be, but it could also be that they're manipulating the timelines and it changes things.
Mm-hmm.
It could be as simple as they control everything and they manipulate everything. It has nothing to do with the timelines. Or it could be, too, that they also manipulate timelines, and that's why some things happen and some things don't. And you can feel the energy sometimes. If you're tapped into it, you can feel when it changes, when we move to a darker timeline, into a lighter timeline, if you're more intuitive. I feel that a lot. I know that's probably a lot of Corey Good woo-woo nonsense bullcrap, but I don't know. Sometimes it seems true to me. I'm like Mulder, I want to believe, I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I don't have any proof of this. I could just say that it seems like it's what happened.
Well, I would say the proof is why we're all in this talk right now. It's about like coming together because we all feel this driving force, like in the universe, whatever it is. Is it a search for truth? Is it a known fuckery? But I think what ultimately it's like this veil is being lifted, but we've already had it lifted years and years and years and years ago. And I think and now this medium, the internet, is allowing us to come together and really fucking rip the lid off it. Not that we're like this huge fucking part of it, we're a small part of it, but and we found each other and we're able to really talk about it, man, and freely talk about it openly for, so far till they try to shut that shit down too. But maybe that's another one of their last gasps, to control what is altered media, or alternative media. Like,
I mean, what if Alex Jones, talk about the FEMA camps all the time, as Josh Reeves says, what if that's just to make people get into FEMA camps?
I've seen the graves.
I mean, what if it's just, get all of us to believe this, and then we get rounded up because we believe it, the Pied Piper type bull.
Yeah, we manifested the FEMA camps.
Right, we gotta manifest the opposite way, right? Yeah. I mean, I don't.
I don't know. I
believe in that aspect. I don't.
Well, wasn't the whole thing with like Jade Helm? Wasn't that just like a psyop to see who would freak out about it? Like rather than.
I mean, I do think on some reality, some of Jade Helm was real, that they were analyzing. But I think that's what it was. I think it was analyzation by the Tavistock Institute. To see what people were doing.
Well, what the reaction was.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly what you're talking about, Grim. I 100% believe that's what Jade Helm was. And I think people were freaking out down. I have a friend who said people were freaking out down there in Texas, about it and everything, about UN troops, thinking that they're going to go to their, go to the local grocery store, their local Giant, and there'd be a UN troop in there, be like, what the hell?
Yeah, because there was those videos coming from like people trying to go into Walmarts and stuff, and they couldn't walk in there because like it was all closed off, and it was weird shit, man. It was weird. A lot of fear porn out there.
Always. I mean, there always is, I mean, I'm not going to say that things ain't fucked, because things are fucked, but I mean, there's always hope. I mean,
fear porn created by random YouTubers and shit.
Yeah. There's always hope when you actually stop looking at the big picture and like kind of narrow things down into your own little bubble. That's where the hope comes from, because you're like, wait a minute, this shit isn't going on directly around me, so that's not so bad. I mean,
why am I high-fiving and handshaking my neighbors?
Yeah.
Instead of throwing guns on them.
I mean, to be honest, I guess we're safe.
Yeah.
I guess human beings are free as long as they can die, right? Unless we get to the transhumanist pill.
Oh man.
Oh, I'll totally upload my consciousness into a robot. Take me away.
What?
Oh yeah.
No, I wouldn't. You guys be sarcastic, right?
I wouldn't.
Is that sarcasm?
I'm going oh shit.
Dude, it's mixed feelings.
Altered carbon, dude. Yeah.
Altered carbon.
I would die. Men are free as long as they can die. Do you guys understand that? Like, if you can't die, then you're stuck. Like, that's the ultimate control. Like, if you can't be free from your death, then you could be controlled for the rest of your life. I mean, what was that one book? I have no mouth, therefore I cannot scream. That was made into a computer game. I mean, is that what you want? I mean, yeah, you might live forever, but what if you live forever as a gelatinous blob that can't do anything and just screams all the time?
Just screaming, or just made an AI slave bot.
90-year-old lady.
Yeah.
So I mean, I take being in a fleshy body any day. I like having a soul. I like being an individual. I don't want that fucking.
Come on, it'd be fun to play with old lady titties for a while.
Yeah, I'm good. You keep your altered carbon to yourself. I don't want that. I'm good.
It is funny how cash is king, and even 2,000 years from now, the man in the high cat, it's still going on, dude. Yeah,
I mean, it's always going on. I mean, how many times have we done this before? Tower of Babel.
Yeah.
I mean, how many times throughout history? How many times? I mean, what reset of civilization do you guys think we're on? 5th, 6th, 2nd, 4th? I mean, how many times has this been done?
History repeating
itself. 6th or 7th, I think.
I keep saying 6 for some reason, but now we advance another year now, so whatever Mandela effect kicked in then. but yeah, I don't know, for some reason I keep thinking 6, but I don't know.
Who knows? Who knows?
6 version of yourself,
dude. But the Earth is only 6,000 years old. I mean, what are you talking about?
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, come on, man.
You know what? That doesn't sound as crazy as it used to. When I was younger, people would say that. I'm like, you're so crazy.
When the original Earth blew up, and now we're just like a little section of it.
Who knows?
Floating around.
As far as we know, I mean, there's no real history beyond 1700, really. It's all kind of real. It's whatever was written down. And
then man invented the pen. Yes. Yeah.
I don't know.
Because then, you had cave art, shit like that. That kind of stuff. But
what point does it get? What point do people realize that their histories, what we know of history, is completely messed up, and we don't know what to degree it's messed up, and there's missing chronology, and and it's just.
Well, that's the biggest thing, though. They keep people distracted and focused and stressed in their everyday life. So it's like, who cares about history? They think, like it doesn't matter. Like nobody even cares about that. So it'd be so hard. Other than the curious out there, the curious. That's it.
Right.
I love being the curious.
Son, he's 11, and he's in there. He goes to public school. They're both going to go to public schools. I'm not paying for no fucking private school. If anything, what I should do is not send them to
homeschool, man.
But I try as much as I can to, just expose, just be like, there is a different version of things where you're probably not, calmly try to be like, there's a lot more to the story without being some crazy fucking guy scaring the shit out of his kids. But
yeah, I don't know. Did you guys watch WrestleMania?
I totally did.
It gets to the point, people ask me, why do you still watch wrestling? Why do you still watch television and stuff like that? Aren't you too enlightened to be watching this mind-numbing, controlled bullshit?
But it's fun.
I'm like, well, I gotta slow down my mind sometimes, because if I didn't, I just would be I would have blown my brains out by now. You gotta find a way to de-stress, and
take me back to when you were a kid, John. When did you start? Let's see. I'm older than you. Jerry's older than us. Jerry was watching probably watching it in black and white.
They didn't have WrestleMania when I was a kid.
No, they had King of the Ring or some shit. King of Honor, Ring of Honor. I don't even remember what it was.
No, they didn't have Ring of Honor.
Not Ring of Honor. That's a different thing. I don't know.
What was
Ring of Fire?
Ring of
Fire. What was Ric Flair's NWA Wrestling, National Wrestling Alliance? Is that back when you were watching it, Jerry? How far back are we going here?
I've never watched wrestling. It's always been cretinism to me.
Well, if anything, it would have been a local TV spot or something. Because that shit wasn't bad on the WWF.
All right, so let's talk about when I started watching wrestling.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start with that. All right. So I started watching around the time my appendix burst and my dad wanted to bond with me more. So he watched wrestling as a kid.
Uh-huh.
So I was 14. So we started watching it together and going to live events. So I started watching at about 1999-ish.
Oh, wow.
So I
was that the Attitude Era?
It was the middle of the Attitude Era. My favorite wrestler was, of course, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He's still my favorite wrestler to this day.
Can you smell?
Exactly. He's still my favorite. No one's better than him, even though I do like Chris Jericho.
Oh man, he's still tearing it up.
I never really cared for Undertaker very much. I never really did.
Nah, too old and slow.
I liked Mick Foley.
Oh yeah, Mick Foley was great.
I like Shawn Michaels. I hated Triple H. Back when I was that age, I was heavily a mark. I was,
marking out.
Boo the Hills, love the faces. And I was a little bit that way. Actually, I stopped watching it around the time Vince bought, a little bit after Vince bought WCW and the Internet.
Yeah, that's when I came over. I started in WCW. I watched WCW for a year and a half and then went into WWF. Dude, I love the NWO.
Was that Goldberg and shit like that?
Yeah, dude, Goldberg and the NWO and all that shit when it was at its prime, and then it just went to shit.
So that's what I stopped watching it. I stopped watching it for years.
Oh yeah, me too.
And then a friend of mine moved in.
I didn't watch it at all.
And we started watching it again around 2007-ish. And that was the time, I think, it might have been 2007, might be 2006. It was the time when John Cena was feuding with Edge. And of course, I was huge Cena mark. I still was, still bought into the kayfabe in 2006. 2006 is when it was. And so, yeah, that was great. I mean, I loved that period of wrestling. It was really good. I remember Mr. Kennedy. And then I stopped watching it again. And
yeah,
then
it comes in spurts.
When my son Abel was in the hospital back in 2011, we were at the Ronald McDonald House, and I was watching. There's some people watching it there, and I started getting back into it. Watching it with my oldest son, I meant Holden. He was around 3 at the time, and started watching it with him. And I started listening to this podcast called Smart Wrestling Fan with Joe Negron and Mr. Mutant Larry, and I still listen to it to this day. Even though they're liberals, and sometimes it bugs me, SJWs and stuff like that, but it is what it is. But I don't watch wrestling all the time. I watch a lot of the pay-per-views, and I watch them with my son still to this day, and I plan on going to WWE Live at the end of the month. And I watched WrestleMania. I watched also in NXT TakeOver New Orleans.
Same.
I thought NXT TakeOver New Orleans is way better than WrestleMania.
Dude, the ladder match.
The ladder match was one of the best matches I've ever.
It was so good.
And I love EC3. I'm a huge Ethan Carter III fan. I have a TNA shirt. It's one of the few wrestling shirts I own with Ethan Carter III.
Shit, I got like 4 or 5 of them.
Actually, one time I got free TNA tickets when I was working at Fix Your Gut, because I did a little bit of work for Natural Stacks from MagTech Supplement, and one of their ambassadors was one of the wrestlers for TNA. I can't remember his name now. He was really good. I liked him. And I got free tickets when they came to North Carolina, front row seats. And I took my cousin and my friend. It was. I met EC3. He signed my shirt. Good times. I mean,
That's awesome.
My dad loved wrestling. He grew up watching it with his grandfather. My grandfather, my great grandfather's son. He talks about a time where they all went to wrestling together, and his father wanted to get in the ring. Was embarrassing the heck out of him because he thought it was still real to me. Damn it,
it's still real.
And I mean, who doesn't like Kurt Angle? I mean, Kurt Angle's back. He doesn't know how to use a cell phone. It's hilarious.
It is funny. Dude. I love those spots where he's trying to pretend like he's talking on the phone and shit. It's just black and like
exactly. So who's your guys' favorite three modern wrestlers? Let's do that. Who the modern? I'm not talking about any of the old ones. The modern day, the past couple of years. Who's your 3 favorites right now that you think are going places?
Dude, I haven't watched. I haven't watched wrestling in 16 years.
Let's see.
Graham, you make me feel sad.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, James. I'll go first.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
I think Braun Strowman from North Carolina. I think Get These Hands. I think he really is going somewhere. Braun's my boy. Native North Carolina represent. Braun's definitely. I mean, he's big. He can move. He can talk. He's got charisma.
Dude, what did you think when Bray Wyatt brought that motherfucker out, dude? I was like, who is this fucking guy? Okay, I don't remember him on NXT.
So when he was part of the Wyatt family, I didn't think he was going to be anything. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't think so either.
Boy, was I fucking wrong. Braun Strowman, I'm getting to Get These Hands shirt. I gotta get it. Even when they did the Nicholas tag team thing, I was cracking up. Did you see the mixed tag challenge with Braun Strowman and Alexa Bliss?
That was on was it like on
Facebook?
Yeah, the Facebook. No, I didn't see that.
And he was training Alexa Bliss, and he gave him one of his shirts, and it was just fucking comedic gold.
Just a drape.
Yeah, I mean, so Braun Strowman. If we're talking about the ladies, one thing is I've always wished that there were actually women who could wrestle. I mean, the biggest girl that I liked, wrestling woman that I liked growing up was Trish Stratus. I mean, Trish Stratus was hot.
Oh yeah, dude, she was great.
But she could wrestle.
Dude, the women's matches now are fucking epic. They're so good.
I think the one of the best wrestling women that they have right now, wrestling wise, is Sasha Banks.
Yeah.
What Sasha is she's horrible on the mic. She needs to get better on the mic. And I like Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss is better on the mic, but she's horrible in the ring. She can only punch. And I also like Irish girl with the
I know who you're talking about. But
I guess I'd go with Sasha Banks for number 2, and I guess for number 3, I'm gonna have to go with my dog
Becky Lynch,
Dean Ambrose.
I was just gonna say I love Dean Ambrose.
I love Dean. I don't know how much more he's gonna be wrestling because he's broken up. His body's been broken down for years.
I just looked because I'm like I stopped watching for like 3 months. And I was like, where the fuck is Ambrose? And then I looked it up last night because they're doing the superstar shakeup now. And I looked it up at the end of Raw because I didn't know if he was going to come on or something.
Yeah.
Because no spoilers or whatever, but yeah. And so anyway, he has a torn pectoral muscle. So he was out for like 6 months. But I just read like he's going to be overseas at that whole, the world's greatest battle royal or something like that, or Royal Rumble, the world's greatest Royal Rumble. It's a 50-man Royal Rumble.
Damn.
Yeah, it's happened in Saudi Arabia. Of course, no women can wrestle because Saudi Arabia hasn't changed yet.
And no Jeff Hardy.
Yeah,
he's got a.
Even though Thomas Wichter tells me that the United Gulf States are in our favor, that Israel and Saudi Arabia are working for us in tandem.
I stopped following him, by the way.
Wichter's a nut job.
I think so. I liked him at first, but not anymore.
No, Wichter's a nut job. He talks about how he witnessed a mob panic event in Central America. Because of that, it tore him up so much. He's on like 14 antipsychotic medications and stuff. And it's horrible for anybody to witness a mob tearing somebody apart. I get that. But I mean, come on. We've all had our own problems. Wichter, grow the fuck up. You're an old man by now. I mean, I'm sorry. It's a harsh way of looking at it, but
he's not that old. He's only 60 or 62 or something.
But still, you think he would have rectified that by now if he did a lot of soul searching and worked on himself.
If he just took some ayahuasca, it'd be fine.
Yep.
Yeah. Or maybe he'd be the type of person who takes ayahuasca and be much worse.
Maybe.
On 16 antipsychotics, and you mix DMT with that, and it might not go as well as you wanted to go.
Party time.
Dude, that's so
okay, I know some schizophrenics. None of them are on 16 antipsychotics.
Yeah, that's outrageous.
I don't think he's really on that much, but that's what he claims. It's like some crazy number, like 10 or 16. I don't remember. It's like some.
He's self-medicating.
It's some double-digit number. I mean, hell, even I got some schizophrenic tendencies to a degree. I mean, it is what it is. It's just.
Everybody's a little crazy.
Everybody has their own.
I'm on the spectrum.
I'm on the SOMI. I got a touch of the TISM somewhere.
The TISM.
Probably going to get some letters about that. I mean, hell.
I definitely do. Yeah.
I've been on 4chan and 8chan for years. I mean, trust me, there's something wrong with me. I got a little bit of something. I don't know what that something is, but it's definitely something. I mean, it hasn't got to the point where I'm John Nash, where even though I got the whiteboard with all the connecting and dots and stuff like that, I still haven't talked to people who aren't there yet. At least I don't think I have.
I just have deficit disorder completely. Just cover the whole thing.
Deficit.
Totally. No, my oldest son, he's got ADD, and he's on the there's 3 versions of it. There's
Concerta.
Well, there's the attentive, and then the hyperactive, and then there's a combined. Because I went to the Cleveland Clinic, which is like one of the number
drug
one.
Is he on?
They got him on the Vyvanse.
He's not on anything now. I took him off of that shit.
Good.
My daughter's on Vyvanse.
Well, they had him on Ritalin, and it's weird. Like,
read this book.
He turned into a zombie, dude.
Read this book, Dirty Genes by Ben Lynch. If you want to figure out how to methylation, an easy book to read to get on, figure out how to correct it and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's all right. I'm
speaking
kind
of books about health. You have a book yourself, don't you, Jen?
Yeah, Fix Your Gut, all about fixing digestive issues. I mean, if anybody's dealing with a kid who's got ADD, they probably got a catch-all methyltransferase or a COMT mutation, some sort of methylation mutation with MTHFR. Maybe MAOA.
Definitely mutation. Definitely.
And their gut microbiomes are probably off to some degree. It happens.
Yeah, is it diet? Like, what do you? I mean, I don't not. Well, I think it's. I think it. Some version of whatever I've had was handed down through my genes or whatever type deal.
Well, there's genes, and there's epigenetics, and there's personality. There's nature versus nurture.
Sure.
What can we control? What cannot we cannot control? I'm pretty sure a lot of it has to do with genes, like the genes I mentioned, COMT, MTHFR, methylation related. Some of it has to do with epigenetics, like the gut microbiome.
Like he seems to be doing a lot better than he was, like as he's in.
Well, some people get older, some people grow out of it.
Yeah.
Once you get them on a better diet or get them.
Yeah, and then the thing is with them drugs, they just want to keep you on that shit. And,
the drugs.
We were just
good.
Fuck. Yeah, he did it for like 2 years.
It's a personal decision, and I'll never yell at somebody.
No, I know. It's just.
I would argue that try your best to try to do alternatives first.
Yeah.
Because you are giving them amphetamines.
Right.
I mean, simply put, that's what it is. And what does it do? It increases dopamine. And
he lost weight, and he's already skinny, which was like really. That's what was the final straw. I was like, no way, no fucking way.
So
like,
what happens?
The dude's already like thin anyway.
So what happens when you give somebody dopamine? You make them focus. You make them happy, and you make them calm. But what the problem is, it starts forming dopamine quinone in the brain, and that can lead to Alzheimer's disease and dementia later in life and other neuroinflammatory conditions from taking the amphetamines. So it's definitely a problem. I mean, you really, most people, if you're dealing with a child who either has autism or ADHD or some sort of mental disorder, that's not trauma based per se, like children that have been exposed to a huge amount of trauma, that's more nurture over nature. But let's say that it is something, because it's more likely caused by methylation or microbiome issues or heavy metal toxification through sometimes possibly through vaccinations or sometimes
that was my one fear. But the way we did our vaccines was the stretched out version,
which is the best way of doing it if you are going to do it.
Yeah.
My approach on vaccinations are some are probably needed. I wish they were cleaner.
Yeah.
And I do think that vaccines work to a degree. Now, what that degree is, it's debatable between each individual vaccination. For example, I don't think the poliovirus causes the condition poliomyelitis. I actually think poliomyelitis is actually meningitis. And the reason why it went down was because antibiotics were treating bacterial meningitis at the time, and the correlation between one or the other. And there is some science to show that. So, I mean, with vaccinations, it really just depends on the individual vaccination. For example, I don't think, and I, of course, run everything by your doctor, obviously, but I don't think females, should get the mumps vaccination because the chance of sterility with mumps is extremely low. Or possibility, boys, it might be a good idea to get the mumps vaccination to protect against getting mumps so they don't become sterile. And it had to be a cleaner vaccine than what they have now. That's the problem about vaccinations. There's not really actual vaccine itself. It's just how, the additives that are put in them.
Yeah.
They only use thermosil and flu shots now, some flu shots. But they still add nasty stuff in, like human tissue, which may trigger some sort of negative immune response.
Yeah.
Monosodium glutamate. A lot of things that people may react.
Glyphosate.
Yeah, stuff like that. People would act negatively too. That their immune system will react. And a lot of, like, for example, the diphtheria vaccination using endotoxins instead of attenuated bacteria. Injecting toxins directly into the bloodstream to get the immune system to do a response. I think that's kind of crappy. Instead of using dead bacteria. Which would be safer in my regard.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it depends. It's a personal choice. Like, I don't think any child should be giving a hepatitis B vaccination because last time I checked, children don't either have anal sex or at least it should be, or doing drugs. It's silly.
Share needles and shit. Yeah.
It's silly when children are first born. You give them a Hep B vaccination. It's like, what the fuck? Your kid's not mainlining. So
what's the new one? The HPV one? The
Gardasil. I would touch Gardasil with a 10.
Yeah.
Oh, you couldn't pay me to give my daughter the Gardasil vaccination.
Oh, that's been killing a lot of girls, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been causing a lot of neurological issues, destroying their lives through immune reactions to this. I mean, HPV is so ubiquitous in nature. There's hundreds of human papillomaviruses. That it's just interesting of they think, well, these certain strains cause cancer because maybe there's a little bit more evidence with that, and maybe there is to some of the strains, but there's just not enough clinical evidence. It's like, it reminds me so much of women lopping off their breasts because they have a few of the estrogen modulating genes that makes them predisposition to get breast cancer.
Yeah. Well, who did that? That was
Angelina. Cut my breasts off. I know it's a personal choice. I'm not shooting any women to do that, but I'm just saying that there are other ways that you could do instead of lopping your breasts off, which causing inflammation, by the way, is a trigger for cancer.
The triggers, right? Yeah.
So it's the same like getting a mammogram. I mean, if everybody says go get your mammograms, well, when you're squeezing breast tissue together and you're radiating it, someone who had a precancerous forming mass that may never have formed into cancer, could have just been like that for the rest of their life. Now it's been physically manipulated. There's some inflammation, there's some radiation to the area. It could cause cancer. I mean, it's just, you gotta be more smart about these things. People go to their doctors, they don't think anything of it at all, and the doctor says, well, it's time for you to go get a mammogram done. We can get a thermography, which would work just as well, which is not invasive, where they just check the blood flow to your breast. And cancer would have increased blood flow. So right. It's just interesting that it blows my mind, of why people don't know any better, and I'm not faulting most people because they trust their doctors.
That's the biggest thing, man. They trust their doctor. When it's like, why would anybody question, the medical professional that is telling them what to do? And that's the biggest thing. People need to start doing that.
And there's alternatives to cancers too. There's alternatives to most every disease. Even my son Abel, who had was born, one of the most rarest diseases, six in the world with it. Had like a 1.4 billion chance of getting the disease. Even with him, and there was not much information with it. I got him to survive to the age of 3. And he could have actually lived longer. He actually was a freak accident of why he died from a pulmonary embolism. It had nothing to do with his condition. So it's interesting how, people have to take they can't trust, like, I'm not saying doctors aren't important, and I'm not saying there's not good doctors out there, but you gotta research for yourself, or try to find someone who you could trust that does the research for you. Because if I just would have left my son in their hands, he would have died of heart failure at the age of 1, where I increased his mitochondrial function, and his heart was so strong that he had no heart issues whatsoever per the autopsy. And when I held him up, when we took the ventilator off and I held him up in my arms, his heart beat for 15 minutes without oxygen after death.
Man.
So yeah, it could definitely be done. If there's a will, there's a way in most cases, of things that could be done to overcome diseases. I mean, there are some that aren't there yet, like inborn mitochondrial disorders, where it'd be very difficult to save a child, where a child dies within the first few days or in womb. We're not there yet, but for most conditions and most diseases, even cystic fibrosis, there's things that you can do that you can live a longer life. You may not be able to completely tackle it, but you can live a
longer life. Dude, my heart goes out to you, man. That's
yeah.
I mean, I know, like that's happened, and but I mean, still every time I hear you say that, dude, fuck.
I mean, it's tough. I mean, I lost my father to a hepatitis C, which is easily could be tackled by taking some arlipoic acid and things to increase liver health, like glutathione and natural antivirals. And my mom died from systemic lupus, which is staph.
Wow.
Staph infection. It's just the knowledge isn't out there. Researchers, if you look at the research, it's all there, it all connects, but the doctors aren't taught that. So, and it's not necessarily their fault. They go to a Rockefeller college, they're taught Rockefeller medicine.
Yeah.
And they don't know any better, and you can't. Most doctors try their best. I'm not here to bash doctors. I'm not going to be the naturopath.
No, man, my wife's gone. My wife has had some crazy ass, not even problems in the long run, which is crazy. And it's all I think in the long run, you need to have really strong mental fortitude going in to see a doctor, because they'll fuck your world up, dude. They'll tell you that the sky's falling or it's the sky's black. It's crazy.
Yeah, it goes from you're right.
It's all they're doing is they're playing the cover their ass game. They don't want to tell you shit.
It goes from doctors where I can't get them to run a damn test that I need them to run.
Yep.
To them telling people that they're going to die from things that aren't necessarily the case. It runs the gambit. There's never any in between. No, granted, there are some doctors where they do the job. They do it well. Dr. Tammy, for example, she's a hormone doctor. She's very good. Dave Asprey's had her on. There are good doctors out there. Don't get me wrong, but the medical establishment is so fucked. I mean, the natural medicine, it's fucked to some degrees too. You got a lot of charlatans in natural medicine. You got a lot of supplements being complete crock of horse shit and chicanery, as Josh Reeves would say. You got fucking Alex Jones slinging dick pills.
Yeah.
It is what it is. You get it on both sides, and you got to use the power of discernment. I don't always get it right. There have been people that sadly I've not been able to help, and it really digs at me. I wish I could get everybody who's better who's ever talked to me, but sometimes I'm not Dr. House. It doesn't work that way.
That'd be awesome if you were.
I wish it did.
But my wife
fucking easier.
Dude, my wife basically struggles from mass anxiety due to doctors. It'll set her off like you would not believe, dude. Like all the weird neurological. It's like she's had neuro issues. Just you name it, dude. And then they just go away because she's finally done with talking to doctors. It's so weird.
White coat hypertension and white coat anxiety. It's a real thing.
Dude. It is a thing, and it is real as fuck, dude. Yeah.
I mean, it's the same with me. I hate going to doctors. Sometimes I got to get some tests done, and every time I go, they're like, "Oh, your blood pressure's up," and I'm like, "Yeah," because I'm annoyed that I have to come talk to you.
You're like, no, you need
But sometimes you meet good doctors. It's funny. Every time I talk to a doctor, they always talk to me. They go, "What do you do? What?" None of the nurses ever ask me. It's always the doctors. What do you do? And so most of the time I just tell them, "Oh, I just dropped out of medical school. My son died." I hate saying it like that.
Yeah.
But it gets them to get, because if I sit there and say, "Yeah, I'm just a naturopathic author who, did a lot of research and knows a little bit more than you do and stuff." But if I give them the line, I used to go to medical school, they kind of cut me some slack 9 times out of 10.
Yes.
And I hate playing the game like that. It's real shitty of me. But I mean, they won't look at me any other way,
Yeah, you got to be part of their club. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
you got to break bread, right?
Yeah.
I had a doctor. I have a genetic predisposition to kidney stones, and I get them,
dude,
and they don't hurt like everybody else because I drink so much water and take so much magnesium. Most of the time, I pass them, and just my urethra hurts, my dick hurts for a day. That's all I feel. Most people, they're on the ground, bleeding everywhere and screaming in agony. They want to put a bullet between their eyes. That doesn't happen to me. So one day, I did have actually a little bit.
Only the first time.
I had a little bit more back pain, more than normal.
Yeah.
So I actually went to the doctor.
So yours are do they reoccur? You've had them for a long time, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. One of my best friends, same thing, dude. Yeah. At this point, he just pisses them out, and he has to collect them so they can test them.
Yeah, but see, mine, I don't even see them. They're so microscopic.
Right.
Because I take good care of myself. I don't even there is a possibility if I stopped eating oxalate foods and did a few more dietary changes, I wouldn't have.
Oh, I'm sure But
when I have them now,
you put butter and salt on everything.
When I have them now, they don't really do anything. So, other than a little bit of discomfort every couple of years. And something I can control with magnesium water.
Because most get clustered, right?
Yes, I don't have any of that problems or anything like that. Yeah. But this time I had a little bit more back pain than normal, so I thought something was wrong. So I went to the doctor, and I was in there. I was talking with him, and I was like, "Look, I've had intestinal surgeries. Can you check me out for an abdominal aortic aneurysm? I got palpitation. Can you just look? And the doctor, he goes, he was really nice. He was really good. And he was like, yeah, I think that might be a case. I'll go look. So I go there, and the doctor, so they changed me to the hospital. So another doctor comes out, and she's like, I want to do a CT scan to look. I'm like, no, you can do an ultrasound. I don't want to drink the contrast. You're not giving me all that. Eventually she goes, okay, because she didn't want to do the hassle. So she does it, and later they find out, oh, you have a little bit of blood in your urine. You passed a kidney stone. I was like, oh, that's what it was. I'm gonna be home. I'm fine. My order's all good and everything. So it's just interesting. It's just you got to talk when you talk their language and you're not one of them. They look at you like no one could learn this stuff. It's weird. Like, you don't see lawyers, it's just weird. Like, if you talk as well as a doctor and you talk their language, they can't understand that I didn't go to medical school. How can I know this? Like, for some reason, like, it's only taught in medical. It's like hidden occultic knowledge.
It is. It's exactly what it is. Yes. Oh man!
You mentioned you mentioned lupus. I don't know if you know a lot about that or not, but
I know a lot about lupus.
Yeah, my aunt has it, and one of our good friends that does another podcast, Mike from OBDM, he's been diagnosed with lupus. He's been diagnosed for a couple of years now, from what I remember him saying. But yeah, he went through the whole 7 years of them telling all the different things that he possibly had except lupus, and then they finally tell him that. He's told the story of how he it fucked him up, man, for a long time.
Have him contact me. I mean, I believe lupus is mainly a weakness to systemic staph, because staph infections can cause a similar occurrence of the butterfly rash that's seen in lupus. And there's a lot of studies that push that correlate together between staph and lupus being a very strong cause. Like, you get the photosensitivity to lupus that could be endotoxins and everything. So it's interesting that they go along with each other. There might be other co-infections that go along with lupus erythemus. It depends on who you ask. I think lupus can go in remission. I think people can get better. I don't know. It's like staph, they're gram-positive, so they don't. It's a different toxin than gram-negative endotoxins, but there seems to be two different bacteria. It seems to be staph, and usually you'll see staph or H. pylori maybe contributing to lupus. Or I don't know if you guys saw the recent when people have all these autoimmune conditions. My third book's probably going to be on autoimmunity.
Yeah.
The doctors go, well, we can't figure out the reason why the body starts attacking itself. It just starts attacking itself for no reason, and so we just give biological medicines to calm down the inflammation, to calm down the immune system, and you're on that for the rest of your life, and you eventually succumb to pneumonia or complications to inflammation to the autoimmune condition that you have. It's a little horse crap. A lot of the autoimmune conditions are caused by bacteria, yeast, or fungus, or viruses. For example, most people know multiple sclerosis. That's caused by H. pylori. There's enough evidence to show that. Klebsiella is the cause of alkalizing spondylitis, rheumatoid arthritis. Ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease are caused by Mycobacterium avium paratuberculosis, which is found in ruminant animals. Sjogren's syndrome is caused by H. pylori. I mean, the list goes on and on of what these conditions are caused by these certain pathogens. And once you reduce the pathogen load, correct the immune system, people get sun, they change their diets, they sleep better, they do all these things. Their disease generally goes into remission. Not all the time, but most of them do. I mean, for example, I had my son's occupational
You've heard of MS and shit going into remission?
Oh God, yes. I actually had
from fixing the gut, basically.
I actually had a good friend of mine. His significant other had MS-like syndrome, where she would get these events where she would have a progression of attacks, where she would lose her urinary incontinence. She would urinate herself, and then she would lose physical capability of the left side of her body, and it would go upwards like how MS does.
Right.
And I discovered that it was H. pylori overgrowth with varicella reactivation, and viruses would trigger this. And once I tackled it as such, her MS-like condition went completely in remission, and she hasn't had a MS attack in about a year and a half And also for good measure, I also got one of our ovaries back to producing eggs, which they said wasn't possible.
Jesus Christ.
Nice.
So sometimes you get, I mean, it doesn't always work out that way. I had a good personal friend of mine for years. He's still having problems. And I feel bad for the guy. He's been sick since I was sick. He's been sick for going on 8 years now.
Wow.
There's a couple people I gotta like send your way. Like our other friend, Gordon Roop. He suffers from grand mal seizures, like all the time, like really fucking bad. Like
ketogenic diet.
I think he's tried that.
And, increased glutamine and CBD oil, and there's magnesium. There's some things that you could do to try to blunt that. There's a couple people I might have to send your way for sure. But I mean, it's
that we care about.
And I ain't house. I can't fix everybody in an hour.
Come on, man.
But I can at least hopefully give most people improve their life.
You'll be able to send them at least a little bit of information in the general direction.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'll do my best to get anybody healthy.
John, what do you think of Morgellons?
I think Morgellons is it's a spirochete disease similar to syphilis. It's also found in cattle. Give me a minute. I gotta see. It's there's a disease found in cattle called filamentous Borrelia dermatitis. It looks very similar to the textile fibers that come out of Morgellons. So I think it is some sort of weaponized Borrelia, similar to Lyme disease, which was weaponized by Plum Island. And I think it causes this filamentous Borrelia dermatitis type thing in human beings, where they're pulling out these fibrous tissues that are produced by the body through collagen strands. I don't think it's delusional parasitosis. I really do think it more than likely is weaponized spirochete dysbiosis.
So it's definitely the chafe coming down that they add in
the chafe.
chemtrails.
You want to could you elaborate a little bit on Plum Island and this whole weaponized Lyme disease? I think a lot of people haven't heard of that.
Well, I talked about on the Higher Side Chat episode about the connections to Plum Island and how it seems to be that 3 major diseases escaped from Plum Island, which were Lyme disease, which is caused by Borrelia. It seemed that a tick must have somehow got on a bird. It must have escaped from the lab somehow or another and went over to go to Lyme, Connecticut, hitched a ride, or maybe they released it there. I don't know. And that's where it came from, because Borrelia's ubiquitousness in nature. It's everywhere. It's a spirochete. I mean, it's even sexually transmitted. And a lot of people are walking around with undiagnosed Borrelia or even undiagnosed Lyme disease, and it never causes chronic Lyme. So
what if people have parakeets? It's like a weaponized bird.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same with you guys have heard of West Nile virus, right?
Oh yeah, it's here every summer.
That was just, I don't know, in Africa forever until 1999, where it magically showed up in Queens, New York, near Plum Island.
Oh man.
It's never was on this side of the hemisphere, and then it happens to show up there of all places, nowhere else in the northern hemisphere, just New York City.
Yeah, man. Somebody gets a case of West Nile at least once a year around here.
Got to bring that back. Yeah.
So it's just, I mean, are all these weaponized? I mean, I would assume
just mutations of something.
Well, that Zika virus was totally. I think that's more of a form of population control.
They were using. I mean, that's what Plum Island was. A Plum Island research facility. It was okay. So they claim it was to work on zoonotical diseases to protect our livestock. Okay. I think that's a horse.
Yeah.
That's more horse shit and chicanery. As Josh Reese was saying, it's bullshit. I mean, they were definitely doing some weaponized, and somehow the weaponized forms of Borrelia that caused chronic Lyme escaped. Because Borrelia's existed. Like, that's the thing is it's like they say autism. It's diagnostic rates increase. It's not like it's getting any higher. It's just better diagnostic methods.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same fucking thing for Lyme disease. Like, really, like, you're going to tell me that all of a sudden in Lyme, Connecticut, they decided they linked fucking bullseye rash, fevers and joint pain in the fucking late 70s. Like, really? Like, all of a sudden I'm supposed to believe that magically this condition that's never existed ever just started to exist next to Plum Island? It has nothing to do with some genetically modified strain of Borrelia.
Yeah. The coincidences are just too great. Right place.
It's just funny when you look at it. I mean, it's just like, I guess I'm the conspiracy theorist. I guess I'm just the crazy one.
Well, yeah.
You know, and I mean, that's what you get. I mean, that's what you get from Plum Island. You get West Nile, you get Lyme disease, you know, and if you want to read a book, there was one book I read on it, and I heavily recommend it. It was called Lab 257. It was by Carroll, was the name of the author of the book. A very good book on Plum Island if everybody wants to know about his links of Lyme disease and West Nile virus being linked to it. I mean, he was a lawyer. He also talks about they were studying foot and mouth disease was the big one. That's right. Foot and mouth disease is what they were studying at Plum Island. And that was actually it was actually Operation Paperclip they brought over when the former Nazi scientists to work at Plum Island. Actually, he was giving the head job at Plum Island. He declined it. I forgot his name. Pardon my ignorance. But yeah, when you look at all this, it's like he was like the expert on foot and mouth. And you like look at all this and you're like, they got to be doing some experiments. I mean, you know, when Alex Jones says they're putting atrazine in the water to turn the frogs gay, they are. It is what it is.
Yes. Yep.
And then you need to buy a Berkey. Then you need to buy a Berkey.
Yeah,
water
you got to
filter.
buy a big Berkey water filter.
Yeah, too bad Berkeys are not as good as like other like reverse osmosis and water distillation. But
I even heard reverse osmosis. Well, I was listening to Matt Belair, Grim
sauce.
And he had this chick on that was like, I was telling you, she's like the full blown like don't eat for you can't like you can not eat for 40 years and shit like that, you know, breatharian, all this crazy shit.
Oh yeah, the breatharian.
But she was talking about how like reverse osmosis is even better. She's like 100% spring water, straight up.
Okay.
Yeah.
In a perfect world, she's right. The problem is water's contaminated.
Yeah, I didn't understand that. Like, so, I don't know. Like,
I mean, unless you could get it straight from a fucking spring tap. I mean,
yeah, she's
but
like,
even then, it
there's a site you can go on.
There is. I've drank in that water, but even then, you still don't know. Like that's the problem. Is
a guy just took a leak in it upstream.
Yeah, like they say, reverse osmosis is bad, that it leaches minerals, and it does. I'm not going to say that it doesn't, but that's why you eat a good diet with minerals in it. It protects you because what does your mitochondria love? Your mitochondria loves pure water. It likes deuterium depleted water. And the more pure water that you consume, the better it is for your mitochondria and it's better for your body. So yes, reverse osmosis does have a drawback. Of course, if this was caveman days and I can go drink from a freaking spring.
Because that takes the minerals out of it, right? Like
reverse osmosis, it does take the minerals out of your body, yes, but as long as you're eating real salt and eating food and you got minerals put back in you, it's freaking fine.
Yeah, because if you're not eating food, you're not eating meat, you're not eating this, you're not eating that, and then you're doing stuff like that.
Wasn't that like
really doing more damage than good, right? Yeah.
Wasn't that Marina Jacobi? She would like take the distilled water and like run it under a frequency or something and then drink it. Wouldn't she do something like that?
Matt has talking about those arc crystals and shit where it restructures water.
There is a structure of water. I mean, look at the Gerald Pollack and Jack Cruz. I mean, it's in my next book coming out, Fix Your Mitochondria. There's such thing as water structure. Water does have memory. That's 100% true. It's just restructurizing, either using a vortexer or using a flask of water bottle. I mean, I restructure my water. I drink reverse osmosis and then I restructure it. I mean, that's not woo woo. That's
right.
Science.
It's nice.
But I mean, when you get into that reverse osmosis is completely bad for you because it strips minerals out of your body. I mean, if you drink minerals, it balances it out. I mean, if you add a little bit of, you don't want to add salt to the water because it messes with the exclusion zone. It messes with the structure. You want to add salt to your meals and then drink water, a little bit of water during your meals and water more in between meals. Is how you want to do it.
Yeah. Like I tend to drink, I just tend to like at work and stuff. I just just chug water. I don't even bring the lunch with me. I just slam water during all that whole time. Yeah, like, I mean, I feel great by the time I'm done. At the end of the day, I mean, I do a pretty much physical job.
I mean,
Went from a desk job to a physical job, and like, but
I mean, now we're gonna start talking about
water.
Start talking about 5G and
unzipping
your D. I mean, no one knows what 5G is really gonna do.
So I don't think it does shit. I don't think it really runs yet. I don't.
No, but I mean, when it comes up,
no one has a 5G phone to run it.
But 4G still messes you up. I'm not gonna say that I don't use.
Oh, Jerry's coming in.
RFID
He's coming in hot. Someone say 5D or
5G.
I'm totally listening. I just haven't anything to say.
I know he's working.
I would like to know what, John, what your thoughts are on the similarities between 5D and 5G.
It's just the wrong letter.
No, just the fact that both of these things are prominent in different circles, and one, they're for 5D, but against 5G. 5D being a dimension where they think they're going to. With their
you talk about enlightenment and it's the future type thing and stuff like that.
I'm talking about the people who believe that we're going through some sort of ascension process to a 5D Earth, which I don't know anything about that, but I think it's interesting that you got all these people yakking about 5D, but stay away from 5G. 5G is evil, but 5D is awesome.
Well, I mean,
it's almost NLP-ish,
No, I 100% agree with you on that. I mean, it's almost like it's not gonna say that I don't believe in ascension of consciousness, because I would want it to happen. Don't get me wrong. But that being said, there's a possibility that ascension of consciousness could be a very scary thing. It may not work in our favor too. I mean, I myself am a Gnostic Christian, so I do believe in the archons, and the world that we live in is not as it seems, but I mean, it is a possibility of exactly what Jerry's saying, that, they talk about 5D, they talk about, using the positive higher dimensions to counteract the bad signals that are coming through, and that ascension is important. It almost reminds me of the whole Applewhite Heaven's Gate ascension with the UFOs and stuff like that. Is that what you're getting at, Jerry, of kind of having the same vibes of that to a degree?
No. I'm not trying to diagnose the movement. That's just.
I'm not trying to diagnose the movement. I'm saying, are you picking out the similarities of how they can be, of how?
No. All I'm saying is that it's interesting that both of these terms are so similar in sound, and they're both opposing each other.
So you think it's a form of dualistic neuro-linguistic programming?
I don't think anyone did it on purpose. It just turns out that way. So it's a pattern.
Okay, yeah.
Once again, it's another pattern of
synchronicities and.
Yeah, why do they sound the same? Why is one good and one bad? It's like.
Well, why is the Schumann resonance important, and Wi-Fi could have been
Is the Schumann resonance important? We don't know.
What's the Schumann resonance?
Yeah.
The magnetic.
It's the frequency of the Earth resonates at 7.8.
And it moves back and forth.
Really?
Allegedly.
I would assume that it is important, Jerry, because when I ground to it, there are studies of when grounding to the Earth of heart rate variability improving to the Schumann resonance. So I would assume that there is something to it.
That's a weight off my heart.
Is grounding where you go walk around barefoot?
Yes.
And I also would assume that using technology of Wi-Fi, of using that resonance to heal people, which could have worked using Tesla technology, instead of using Wi-Fi not to that resonance and unzipping people's, damaging people's DNA from a digital signal instead of an analog signal. It would appear to me that they could have used it correctly and could have actually healed and helped people instead of causing some issues. Now, what issues really comes from wireless technology, from 5G, from 5G or 6.0 deeked phones or anything like that? I really don't know. It's hard to quantify. But to say that all this wireless interference is perfect too, the time periods where Earth was less technologically advanced, the only amount of EMF we really got was from solar storms and from from thunder, not so much that we're bombarded in our everyday life. So I think it does do some mitochondrial damage and some cellular damage, but what the degree of that damage is not easily quantifiable for most people to accept. I'm not a fear monger here. I'm not going to say that 5G is going to completely put us in lockstep and unzip our DNA and you're done, son. Once 5G becomes implemented, we're going to die, because human beings can adapt to some degree. But I think
I like how Adam Curry said that, like when the first guy is walking across the street and he instantly spontaneously combusted, that they'll roll out a plug-in to fix that shit.
Yeah, see, that's more true. You know, it makes it more hard. I mean, I'm not sitting here and I'm going to be like, it's the worst thing in the world, folks. Let me tell you about 5G.
It's just another version of a self. Yeah, I don't know.
But I do think it's going to cause problems than it currently is. Don't get me wrong. I mean, for example,
20 years from now, they're going to be like, yeah, at least some of these have caused problems.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to admit it then, but by then it's
right. We're living in now.
We're all dumbed down, and
we're all everybody kind of. Look it up, people. Yeah.
I mean, I could go over it real quick. It'll take 2 seconds.
Yeah.
You can get a special case that blocks the cell phone signal. There's different cases that'll block the cell phone signal going directly into your leg or into your testicles. You know, it's frying your sperm.
Yeah, because you ever get those phantom like leg twitches when your phone's like across the room and you're like,
that's why I don't have my phone on vibrate either, because of that. But yeah, I mean, you have that. You can turn off your GPS and your Bluetooth when you're not using it. You know, so you're.
Yeah, I tend to always try to keep that GPS off.
Yeah, me too.
I keep those things off all the time.
When you turn your router off at night, if you use your router, use it at 2.4 gigahertz. Don't use it at 5. I hardwire
5G.
Don't use any 6.0 deked phones. In America, those cordless phones cannot be turned off. Where even when they're in their base, they're still broadcasting 6.0. Where in Europe they have something called eco deked, where they're more intelligent enough to not have the damn phone broadcasting when it's in the cradle. Okay, in the United States we can't have that. So I mean, yeah, those things that you could do the thing is, we're so much bathed in non-native EMF at this point.
Seriously,
it's just pretty much of limiting your own personal exposure to it the best you can. It's difficult to do. I'm not going to say it's easy. I use my phone a lot. I mean, I'm bad at it, but I do still do my best to limit it as much as I possibly can. Jerry probably does it better than I do.
What if you ever hear those new, not new age thing, but new ways of where I think they even have, I don't know if a program or not, but like where you can use it's like a peer-to-peer, like a cell phone to cell phone, and makes its own network instead of using those major carriers.
I mean, there's also the devices that you can use to maybe protect yourself from wireless, depending on the person. You know, some people might react better to orgone. Some people might react better to Q-leak type pendants. Grounding helps a lot. Making sure that you're well hydrated. Those are all things that people can do to protect their mitochondria and protect themselves. It's not perfect. A lot of it's hokum, and even some of the things I might believe might be hokum. But you just do the things that you can, because it's everywhere in this modern world. And I'm not living in a shack right now with my family, out in the middle of nowhere, in the radius.
Just a shed.
You know, I do have a shed. I am in a shed right now. My friends joke and call it my Unabomber shed. You know,
I was just going to ask if your maiden name is Kaczynski.
Yeah, I'm writing my manifesto.
Dude, Professor Ted was a genius. It's all right.
There's a great.
He was also MK Ultra.
Oh man,
MK Ultra experiments. That was declassified.
The MK Ultra experience. I like
that.
Experiments.
The MK experience. Yes.
I'm. By the way, one thing I'd love to clear up with people: MK does not stand for mind control.
No,
it does not at all. No.
It's just a designator that means intelligence agency.
Yeah.
Also,
no, go ahead. I was going to say no one ever talks about MK often, or
MK Naomi or Artichoke. Yeah.
But go ahead, Jerry.
Which is what I was going to say, is that MK Ultra really wasn't the Manchurian Candidate mind control program at all. It was strictly LSD and hypnosis testing and shit like that. But it was MK Often that did more of the Manchurian Candidate stuff.
MK Often was more mainstream and really getting down to the bottom. I wish we could have seen the undisclosed documents of MK Often.
How about
MK
it?
Often would have made some people trip some balls of how deep the shit goes. MK Often was where the meat was. MK Ultra was a nothing burger. And well, I mean, we didn't have very.
It was a distraction, probably a planned distraction.
Yeah, that's why they put it out there. Yep.
Yeah, I mean,
Look at this, not at this. Yeah.
I mean, that's how it always is. You know, look at this hand. Don't look at this hand. I mean, that's how it. I mean, from Comet Pizza Ping Pong to
yeah,
Lawrence E. King to MK Often to MK Ultra. It's always look at this information. We'll give you this little bit of a piece of shitty steak to bite off of. Why this filet mignon over here? You'll never get to see that.
I love this filet mignon I got here. This grim steak.
Grim steak,
yeah,
yes.
Oh, fucking yeah.
So, Comet Ping Pong, I don't know what you're talking about. You want to elaborate on that a little bit?
Pizzagate. Everybody knows Pizzagate. Fucking Roger Stone being like, listen. Alex Jones. Listen here, folks. Roger Stone's got the idea on Pizzagate. He's the one who released the information, folks. And that's a little known secret no one ever says anything about. But it's just the Council for National Policy tattling on the Council of Foreign Relations pedophile group. They got the Council of National Policy's got their own pedophile group with the Franklin cover up folks.
I've seen the documents.
Don't look at that. I got the doc. You know how funny how Rush Limbaugh says the same cadence. He's got the documents in his
yeah.
nicotine stained hands of fucking Alex Jones. Folks, let me tell you, I've read the documents. I got them right here, folks. I got the documents right here. And I'm not going to read the documents to you. I'm going to show the documents, but you can't really see anything.
Yes.
You know,
and Roger Stone is not Guccifer 2.0.
Oh God, no. Then I will say this: Roger Stone's probably done some dirty things in his life, but I don't think
hanging out with Nixon.
Lucifer 2.0 was probably a DNC employee.
Probably, but I don't think that Roger Stone is a molester. I really don't.
No.
I do. He isn't.
He looks like one.
He isn't a cuckolding with his wife. That's
yeah, but who isn't?
Yeah, this modern day age, who isn't? I mean, you want a big bull to just get down and deep and inseminate your woman on the internet?
Big bull.
I just want to be milked by a dominant woman. That's all.
Oh shit! Yeah, in the basement of Comet Ping Pong.
No, I don't want that. No, I'm good.
The basement of 1763 here in Atlanta.
Nah.
I'm not going to say Jerry's wrong about that. I do enjoy that, but my wife too. I'm more into that.
Everyone should enjoy it once.
But I mean, that's just what it is. I mean, it's the evil that no one talks about, the things that are in the dark, and I don't know. I mean, that's why I watch wrestling sometimes and watch my shitty television shows.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, you have to, man. You have to, because the world is dark. It's a dark place.
Yeah, like we talk about it a lot. You've heard us. I mean, just the fantastical, cool shit, man. Just like dude, I just binge watched 10 hours of Lost in Space. So I watch TV. People, fuck, Jesus Christ. Yeah, like you don't tell me. Some people don't, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, I don't watch TV, but I will watch specific shows. Like I'm watching Lost in Space, which
I have definitely stopped watching like regular television. Like I have it, but I can't stand it, dude. I can't. Now that I can just flip on a show and not watch commercials and not being branded by stuff like that. Yeah, I cannot take
being marketed to constant.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I can't take. I can't. Yeah, it sucks.
It's horrific.
Yeah, I'll never go back.
Yeah, I mean, when you really get down to the bottom of how dark humanity is, no one ever wants to look the darkness in the face, and that's my main problem with society is how fucking comfortable we've gotten and how we allow the darkness to go on without no one ever trying to change.
And they're trying to go farther even to make it, illegal to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because it upsets people.
Words are bad.
Yep. Get shut down. Conspiracy theories.
Yeah, but
that's Carlwood. He's getting flags on his videos now. Like his YouTube videos. I think he's on DTube now. He finally pulled off.
Carlwood?
Yeah. Yeah, his old videos kept getting they're getting flags now. Like videos posted 2 years ago. Yes.
Sandy
This,
Hook.
I'm telling you, nobody died at Sandy Hook.
Jeff, let me tell you about book Sandy Hook. No one died at Sandy Hook.
I have to give it away for free because Amazon won't even sell it anymore.
oh man.
That's exactly what he says.
It is.
Just go to InfoWarsStore.com and everything you need there.
It never ends. The roller coaster never ends. The humor never ends. I mean, this is exactly what our life is. When every news story I read, I fucking laugh my ass off because it's all fucking horseshit.
It's such garbage, dude. Yeah.
Well,
Look,
David
I feel
Hogg
a lot
is
safer
David
because
Hogg
I have
still
a
in the
5-year
news?
supply of
How about that? The food that what's his face? Jim Baker is.
That's what I was just talking about.
Yeah, the tub that turns over and you could shit in it.
Yeah, yes. Armageddon. Yeah, the buckets.
Look, they're tasty and they're good for 27 years.
Well, somebody's looking out for our safety in the future.
Hey, what's wrong with having a bucket? I don't know, Yeah, you gotta have. I mean, what if?
Because they're
Well,
like,
it is
like
what it is.
$2,000 each.
Well, we got any final thoughts?
Some people say they
we wrap this thing up.
You want to survive like apocalyptic times, or do you just want to just get punched out when it comes in hard?
All right, James. Can I get a law and order? Can I get a dun-dun? I need one.
Yeah, dude. I know, because that's a tough call, man. Like what if all your family died and you were the only one? Like, where you're like, oh my god, that shit kind of trips me out sometimes. Like, do I want to survive something like that, or I want to go out with my loved ones?
It's the movie The Mist.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things where you just don't know. And I mean, are we ending with a segment on what did we learn today?
We could do like a final thoughts.
We just got started.
Yeah, Gary just started. Yeah.
It hasn't even been 2 hours yet.
There we go. Don't even give me. I used to watch Law and Order, and God, I wish I never did.
I want to hear
Or did it?
Last night you brought up something about the Grand Dame, and I didn't know what you're talking about.
The Grand Dame ritual.
Yeah.
You never read Fritz Springmeier and Grand Dame, and
I don't read any. Reading's for losers.
How to transfer these different archons into female human bodies.
Isn't that what the Babylon working is? Or no, that was for more.
That was a way of invoking a Grand Dame type scenario, but that was more to bring upon the Maitreya. It's the same thing.
The Scarlet Woman, but there was also the Moonchild ritual, which was part of that too.
Yeah, it's all to bring in archons into human bodies and stuff.
Well, what's an archon then? How is it different from a demon?
Archon is,
or an angel, for that matter.
Archon's a god.
Archons aren't gods.
Yes, they are.
I don't think
nailed it.
Gods.
Some people think of them as whether it's Baphomet or Ishtar or.
Those are not archons in the true sense of the Gnostic way.
Yeah, I guess you could not see it as that. I see them as being archons, though.
Those are ideas that have perhaps
people worship them enough for them to
Yes.
be real, like American gods. So they would
Yes.
be archons.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They would
But
be
that doesn't
archons.
make. I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
They would make us the archons as control. They do have control over the physical realm.
Okay, in that aspect, but not. I don't think like Yaldabaoth is the head archon, right? And that's not even an incarnate entity. Hopefully
not. You're correct, but
If it's even real.
Yaldabaoth is the ultimate.
right. So that would be. I don't consider that a god. It's the demiurge.
Yeah, I guess I'm looking at it a little bit differently. Maybe I'm trying to make it more simplistic enough, but I do think the demiurge has a different collection of like Ishtar and Minerva and Baal and Moloch and Baphomet.
and his posse, his crew.
I do think
Baphomet
Satan
crew.
is a fallen angel, though, and really not much of anything.
I don't think Satan's anything. It's fake.
What about the whole Enlil and Marduk story?
Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
Wait, first of all, Satan's just a concept that's in the Bible. It's not a person.
No, hell is just a concept.
They both are. So is heaven.
That's true. I agree.
All of these things are just ideas that have been personified and
I think they're
perhaps tulpaized.
I think there's demons, and I think there's angels, and I think there's archons, and
I do too.
I think there's spirits, and I think there's souls, and
I don't know about that.
You don't think human beings have souls?
I think what we call soul is not what we think a soul is.
Oh, I think it's a receiver box. I agree.
I think it's our spirit locked in some kind of etheric technology.
I agree with you 100%. It's a receiver box. Yes, it's a transmit. Our bodies just receive a signal.
Yeah, but I don't know about how it works.
You think that's like
it's like an IP address,
paranormal like stuff? You know, like those, like if the imprint is hard enough, that data is stored in that, like, say it said house or whatever for X amount of time until the hard drive dies.
Yes, and then it gets transferred to another.
You can transfer hard drives.
Oh yeah, we've lived multiple lifetimes.
Dude.
But they're all happening right now.
And yes, they're all happening parallel with this lifetime.
Simultaneously.
Dun, dun, dun. Yes.
Well, you guys know that.
Wrong one. That was
all your lives are happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
Everything was once, is, and will be again.
Maybe.
Now, do you think we continue to repeat the same life when we reach our death?
Some of us do, yes.
Oh, there's been many parts. What about that blinking? The blinking.
There's been many parts of your life where you've died and you just continued living.
That's what I've always thought. Like you get sucked into one of those alternate timelines. It's like Jet Li's The One. You just get sucked into another manifestation of yourself in another timeline.
There's been times where that has happened, and there's been times where that hasn't happened. It's a light in the dark. It's always in. It's Yabadioth and the Creator, always going into the end of time.
Oh man!
Damn. What if you made it? What if there's a person that made it through in like one level, never died?
You win.
You totally beat the game. Yeah.
It could be as simple as the fact that we believe we're going to die at some time that makes us die.
Is that like, okay, say the body dies
I think it's possible, but yes.
Is that like that whole, like, say the body dies and then you the whole go towards the light and then you make that decision not to fight it or not to fight it. Like, I've heard a couple of descriptions of like
not going into the light or going into the light.
Well, yeah, because it's like false, which brings you back when you want to. I guess that would be getting into the ascension process.
All right. Okay, well, John, thanks for joining us.
Been a pleasure, you guys.
Yeah,
have me back as always. I'd love to be back on, especially with my dog Jerry. We can explore esoteric.
Totally.
You got you in like 2 or 3 weeks. You're going to be on my show, so
that is right. I can't wait. We're gonna get really crazy about the dreams that I have, Jerry.
We'll talk all night long. There's no time limit there.
All right, John. Yeah, best of luck.
We'll hook John up with all his links and stuff.
Yep, throw it all in the chats.
Fixyourguns.com. Thanks for having me on.
Yep.
Love the show.
Definitely.
Good time, man.
See you soon.
Right,
we love you, John.
Love you, John.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Yeah.
Please, oh please, go on over to brimstick.com and donate to us. Donate to us.
Smiley faces.
Please, oh please, go on over to brimstick.com and donate to us. Donate to us. That's GRIMSTEAK.com and tell them that Cliff Wall sent you there. Oh, and tell them Cliff Wall sent you there.
Smiley faces.
Oh, please, Go on over to grimstick.com and give a donate to us. Oh, give a donate to us.
Smiley faces.
And tell them that Cliff Wall sent you there. And tell them that Cliff Wall sent you there. That's GRIMSTEAK.com. And give a donate to us. And give a donate to us. And give a donate to us. 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 Give a donate to us.
I think they're all in cahoots because space is fake.
Whoa. Space is fake?
It's cruising with steak, dude. It's all about love and sharing ideas, dude. That's not the vibe we're looking for, dude.